meeting, and we love it. So thank you all for coming out. All right, if we can please call the roll.
Certainly, Mayor. Mayor Bright Cruz?
Here.
Vice Mayor Albritton? Present. Councilmember Hartman? Here. Councilmember Jablonski?
Here.
Councilmember Kaczynski?
Here.
We have a quorum, Mayor.
Excellent. If you'll please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, great. Well, we have a house full of guests, which is awesome. Welcome to everybody. Welcome to those watching online. And we have a number of presentations that we want to start with this evening. And I'm going to kick it off with Mayor Fisher from Broward County. Welcome, Mayor. We are thrilled to have you here. And Mike's all yours. Waiting to hear what you have to share with us.
Thank you so much, Mayor. I'm so honored to be here in Southwest Ranches tonight. And actually, one of my colleagues is with me, Commissioner Bean Furr, and you're going to hear from him a little bit later on what his subject is tonight. But it's such an honor to be able to serve with him and all my colleagues, including Senator Rich and Senator Geller, who actually represent on the dais Southwest Ranches. So, again, my goal is just to spend a few minutes to tell you that as mayor this year, I'm going to be visiting all 31 municipalities and towns to let them know that the county is here to hopefully serve you. I was able to sit in your position for many years at the city of Pompano Beach as a commissioner and as mayor, and so I kind of knew the frustrations at times when it came to the issue of Broward County, but I want you to know that my theme is communication, collaboration, and community, because all 31 of us is a community. And I don't, although there might be city limit lines between our cities, really we are all one. So I want to make sure that we collaborate together on surtax, whatever you need. Please reach out. My door's always been open. I have Susan Bailey with me tonight, one of my assistants. But seriously, here to serve you. And that's what the Broward County Commissioners want to relay to you as well. So anything we can jump in and help, just please reach out. Don't hesitate to call. And hopefully we can make your projects hopefully much bigger and better. Whatever we can do to be able to help Southwest Ranches grow in a smart way.
Right.
And that's a key, a smart way, and to be able to make things happen. We had a little bit of rain issue last week. Let you know that mosquito spraying was canceled by the weather, but it's supposed to start tomorrow in Southwest Ranches. So look forward to that. And anything, again, you have any hiccups about that, let us know. All right?
Great.
So,
thank you.
thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, God bless you all. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mayor Greg Ross. We've got more mayors in this room than I can ever recall. Welcome.
I thank you very
Great to have
much.
you here.
Mayor, Commissioners, I have with me tonight Commissioner Beam Furr. Beam, come on up, please, because we did this truly as a partnership with the county. We have before you the ILA for the solid waste, and we ask that you have reviewed it. I'm sure you have. If you have any questions, we're both here to answer them. But if not, we ask that you go ahead, vote on it, and pass it.
Great, thank you. Let me open it up to council. Any thoughts, concerns, questions, things that we wanted to bring out?
Just one quick
Yeah,
one.
thank
So
you,
I've
Bob.
lived here for a long time. Okay. And I remember the first county garbage program. What are we doing?
The wheelbrader?
The wheelabrator, the waste management, that whole big old program.
Yep.
And I kind of believe the county walked away with not very much from that deal. What are we doing different this time? Because waste management does a pretty good job. What are we doing differently? I know you guys don't like having to pay them. None of us do. But what's better this time around, this iteration of building incinerators, et cetera?
I'm happy. I'm happy. When the RRB was established, and it was a very good program. I was a Hollywood City Commissioner at the time on the RRB. It was a very good program. You had 2 incinerators. You had flow control. You had most of the cities were involved. What did happen was you started to see an escalation on the tipping fees, and at the very end, we didn't own the plant.
Right. Nice giveaway.
That was the biggest. That was a mistake. in my mind. But given the time, it was a little bit experimental. It put all the not the exposure, I guess the exposure on waste management. They had to, go through it. The difference is this time is we're all in this together. We're gonna own it. We're gonna control it, and we'll all be paying for it. But we're also deciding how we're going to do it. This is because right now, most of our stuff's being landfilled. And unfortunately, that is if you're looking at from a climate change aspect, that's a disaster. Because
So are incinerators.
nowhere near. If you look
Okay.
at the EPA, I'm a very big environmentalist. And the two, there's almost in terms of the amount of methane going out of landfills compared to incinerators, not even close. So those, trying to make sure that right now we can't do a lot of recycling. Or like Waste Management might do some, but they're only going to do it where they can make money.
Right.
And they're doing a good job. This is going to be a partnership with Waste Management and all the other haulers. This is not just us. But for a lot of recycling, we can't do it if they can't make money. But there's a lot of stuff that we can still recycle and divert a lot of our trash stream. For, let's say, glass. No glass is being recycled. But the reality is that can be used all kinds of ways. You can make road aggregate, you can do seawalls, you can do all kinds of stuff. So I think what you've seen from the Solid Waste Workshop and from all of the cities is we want to be good environmental stewards. We want to own it, we want to control it, and make the best decisions for the generations to come.
Right. One other point. About 2 months ago, you sent out, I don't know if it went just to elected officials or it went out countywide, and you were discussing two possible locations, one I think near Monarch Hill.
Right.
And then the other one right out here abutting Southwest Ranches.
Right.
I'm not going to speak for the council because we haven't discussed this, but I have spoke to residents. That's my district right there. Nobody really wants it there. I mean, air pollution, you can say what you want, but we're going to be breathing that stuff. And the residents of my district are not interested in having an incinerator over the fence.
It is a good possibility it would go there. So I'm not going to, but I think what you want to see is the difference in the new standards that are going to be going for this if we do an incinerator there. Palm Beach is the cleanest incinerator. That's the newest one
Right.
in the United States. The comparisons to where people might have thought of what an old incinerator and the numbers, not even close.
Yeah.
So I think what I would ask is for your residents to take a good look at what the new standards are, the new equipment, the new everything.
Commissioner, that's never going to happen.
Technology.
If I ask my residents out in my area to look up the latest standards on
I know.
incinerators,
I
they'll
know.
look at me like I'm crazy.
Right.
I mean, I'm letting you know, they'll end up wanting to fight you. We've fought things that have gone on out at the dumps in the past.
Sure.
We've fought things that have gone on in, the Park of Commerce that's out there. So it's not just going to be we pick Southwest Ranches or that garbage dump and,
Right.
you're going to be unopposed. I think you'll meet a lot of resistance. Pines as well.
And what I think you want to see is, people aren't looking at what comes out of landfills. They don't know the amount of methane and things that are, and that's what we should be more concerned with than what's coming out of an incinerator by a large amount.
Well, that's probably the sales job you need to do then.
Yeah. No, we'll do
Thank
what we
you.
have to do. Yeah.
Great.
It's education for the residents, for all the towns, cities, and villages. It's going to be a learning experience for everyone, but we've learned already from what the deficiencies were in the RRB. So now, and we really have, and we've addressed each and every one of them. We've thought ahead, addressed other potential issues. I think this is inclusive, but if you have any additional comments, we're willing to listen.
Awesome. Very good. Well, we appreciate you all coming out, and this is going to be on our agenda, the second meeting in May.
Okay.
So a couple meetings from now, and so thank you for coming
By
out?
that time, the county will have hopefully passed it.
Okay,
I expect they will. And we've already seen a lot of cities have already done it.
good, good, great,
Hopefully you all will support it. We'd appreciate it.
thank you.
Thank you very
All
much.
right, thanks for coming out.
you.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Okay. All right, we have two more presentations, both of which that are very special, but we have a gentleman in our council chambers this evening who is very special to the town of Southwest Ranches. He was one of the original council members here in Southwest Ranches when we were formed in a town in 2000. And he has given his heart and soul to this town, and he is loved and beloved here. And Astor Knight is thrilled to just to see you here in the council chambers again, see that smile, and get to enjoy your presence again. You've done so much to make our town better and to make us who we are today. And your legacy lives on, and that's what we're going to be talking about a little bit tonight. So welcome. It's great to have you here. So Astor has prepared a statement, and I'm going to read it for him. And Astor, if at any point you want to jump in there, you feel free. But just as a favor, I'm going to read it for him. And what we're going to do is talk through some of the folks that we're going to talk about the Astor Knight Parks Foundation, which is responsible for a lot of the development and the enhancements that have gone on in a number of our parks for our kids and for our adults, and just made us a much more beautiful and rural place. And so we're thrilled for that. So I'm going to be speaking the words, but these are Astor's words. And Astor, thank you for writing these out. So let me, all right. So Astor is here tonight, but asked me to read the following message in honor of some of the volunteers who have worked for his foundation. As I read through the message, when your name comes up, please join Astor at the front of the room, and he has something special for you. And we'll take a photo. So Astor, maybe if you're, yeah, December, can you, thank you.
Maybe they want to give him the mic.
All right, so here is Astor's message. Thank you all for coming here today. As you know, I truly love Southwest Ranches, and this has been exemplified by my formation of the Astor Knight Parks Foundation. However, tonight is about those whose dedication, vision, and hard work not only have made my dream a reality, but made it surpass even my most ambitious dreams. There are so many people that I could acknowledge who have supported the foundation over the years. However, today I will formally acknowledge those who worked tirelessly in the trenches, whose committed and support of the foundation has made a huge impact all these years. Those who without those efforts, the foundation would not have enjoyed the success it has today. It is difficult to be objective when listing people to whom we are grateful. Naming them alphabetically is the most impartial way I know to thank the following people for the many ways they have generously contributed to the foundation. So as I read your name, if you can please just come up, we'd appreciate it. And Rick Bell, please. An organization is only as great as its leader. I'm very proud that I can claim a remarkable success in gathering powerful and generous people to be part of the foundation. In 2022, as I prepared to relocate, I was never more certain of the foundation's future than when Rick Bell stepped up as president of the organization. With his commitment and leadership, Rick has created and worked for many great events, but has also guided us in taking the first important steps to building an endowment that will allow the foundation to provide ongoing support for our mission. Thank you, Rick. Mary Gay Chapels. She's not here tonight, but we appreciate Mary Gay. One more than almost any other person who has volunteered with our foundation, Mary Gay Chapels embodies a certain spirit without which, well, things just don't happen. That spirit is an idea. It is possible. You served on the boards for years, and simply through being open to possibility, you helped initiate an arrangement for the town's land to bring substantial financial benefit right back into the parks. Mary Gay, we salute you, your contribution, your passion, and your ability to help us see the possibilities. Elizabeth Eskenazi. Is she here tonight? There we go. It is a true pleasure to acknowledge the contribution of members whose time with us has not yet been long, but which has provided a map to the best route to get us through the challenges of tomorrow. Elizabeth is a true volunteer who leads us with heart and believes in putting action in place of words. We look forward to many years of being steered by your sincere love and enthusiasm. Thank you. Dr. Dela Franklin. There we go. Dr. Dela Franklin has believed in the Foundation's mission and has remained a steadfast contributor financially, as well as registering tables for our various events. We thank Delia and her husband Colin for their wonderful contributions over the years. Thank you. Barbara Gonzalez. Newer contributions cannot be overlooked, and as the fresh faces of the future to whom we hand our beloved institutions, Barbara Gonzalez, we salute you for your willingness to give your time and for your unflappable, no-nonsense professionalism which keeps us on track and in line. Joe Hubbard. One person can be said to have more significant, no one person can be said to have more significant contribution than any other, as the foundation needs all of the gifts from all the volunteers. Even so, it's hard to imagine many whose input can match the professional contributions made by our former neighbor, Joe Hubbard. Joe, even from afar in Georgia, you still make time to keep our business affairs on track, and you guide us through some of the most important decisions our board must make. We are grateful to have your outstanding support and your financial guidance. Thank you, Joe. December Laurentino Haynes. December, our town staff liaison has guided the foundation and cared for our official and administrative needs from the very start. Her work is part of everything we do as a foundation. Thanks so much, December. Barbara Lester. Barbara here tonight. A strong organization cannot exist without the support of people whose choice to carry out the actual physical work of the events and activities remains strong and unwavering. For bringing your precious energy to each and every one of our events and for always being there for us, Barbara, you are the tireless volunteer who defines the work of giving from the heart. Thank you, Barbara. Wait, how'd this guy get on the list? George Morris. Bringing very special skills and abilities to the service of Southwest Ranches Parks has been an occupation for George Morris from the time of the town's incorporation. Most recently, George has stepped up to bring an even larger vision of the foundation's financial future with his annual country fair. We applaud George's bingo calling skills, matched only by his sense of humor and fun, which brings us all to what we do. Thank you, George. Marie Nix. Marie and her husband Vern have been two of the most keen promoters. Over and again, contributions to the foundation from V&M erectors have been more than generous. Not content just to provide financial support, Marie has lent her linens and her leadership to our events, repeatedly rolling up her sleeves and volunteering, later changing her into her party clothes to be with us at each event as well. Marie, you've been an angel of generosity and playful good humor. You've adopted us, you've hosted us, and brought style to everything we do. Thank you, Marie. Keith Polikoff. Keith has guided us. Like his father before him, Keith's generosity and love for the town of Southwest Ranches has been like a rock and a foundation that was built on. For being our staunch supporter and sage advisor, Keith, we are so grateful to you. I think your dad, Gary, and how much pride he would give to see you in this role. Thank you, Keith. Winston Simmons. Winston here tonight? Not here. Okay. Another former neighbor whose impact for the foundation has been great is Mr. Winston Simmons. For years, Winston rose to every challenge, to be soliciting corporate sponsorships or performing as auctioneer, to providing yet another outstanding entry into our famous chili cook-off. Winston was on the job, tempering everything with his calm and easy manner. We miss you, Winston. George's gain is our loss. Thank you, Winston. Now, the price of having a last name start with W, Ben Wesley. At our town birthday party in 2008, I declared my intention to form this foundation. Ben responded by declaring his pledge to give the first $1,000 to begin its funding. Ben, you kept your promise and have contributed generously every year since. We can never forget your magnificent commitment to our foundation, our great hero, Ben Wesley. Thank you, Ben. Yeah, just a minute. Many thanks to the members of the town council who make our mission and all our events possible. Thank you dearly, Steve, Bob, Gary, Jim, and Dave. Thanks to all the honorees. What started in 2009 as a single event that raised about $16,000 has blossomed into bingo nights, chili cook-offs, car shows, and now a carnival, all of which have raised hundreds of thousands of dollars, ensuring the Astronite Southwest Ranches Parks Foundation can continue our mission to help the town create and enhance parks in Southwest Ranches for the enjoyment of residents and visitors. I could not have predicted the success of the foundation from many years ago. However, having the support of all these honorees tonight, I feel like I can predict the future. Abraham Lincoln once said, "The best way to predict the future is to create it." All these honorees are doers, people that make things happen individually and collectively, so they are the ultimate creators. And with them and those that they will mentor, I predict that the future of the Astronite Southwest Ranches Park Foundation will be great. It finishes with Astor saying, "I love you all," and Astor, we love you as well. Yeah, let's go down and take a picture.
Yep. Look at the camera, folks.
Everybody look here. 1, 2, 3. Got it.
He's got charges of stalking, burglary, embezzlement.
All right.
Yeah, I'll send you links to both. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You know.
So is there anything significant last night?
Yeah.
Announcements or?
All right. All right. This is awesome. What a great evening, all the great events. And we have one more. I want to welcome the Hawksbluff robotics team here. They're with us this evening. And they have been going around doing their competition, and they've been very successful. They've done an amazing job, and they are headed to Texas to the world competition. So I'd like to invite them to come up and say a few words. I will tell you this, they are looking for donations for that big trip out to Texas. I know I'm making a donation. I would welcome others to make donations as well. They've done an amazing job, and it's awesome to support them. So if you'll just say a few words, that would be great.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
Good evening, council members and members of our community. I'm honored to be here to speak on behalf of Hawks Bluff Elementary's robotics program and with fellow RoboHawks tonight. I've been fortunate to not only have grown up in Southwest Ranches, but had the opportunity to return back here nearly 6 years ago to teach. In these past few years, our robotics program has faced challenges from navigating virtual tournaments via Zoom during the pandemic to rebuilding a new team from the ground up. It's through these challenges that we have truly seen the growth and dedication of our students, as well as the positive impact that STEM has had in our school. It is with great pride that we share that 19 students and their families will be traveling to Dallas, Texas next week to represent South Florida and our community at the World Championship. Before I turn it over to my incredible co-coach, Mallory Marcus, and our passionate students, I want to again thank you for this opportunity to be here tonight and share just how proud we are of our students, school, and community. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Good evening, Town Council. My name is Mallory Marcus, and I am a proud Hawks Bluff Elementary teacher and RoboHawks coach. Watching this outstanding group of students develop their teamwork skills and qualify for the VEX Robotics World Championship has been amazing. Our team is composed of several students who are citizens of the town of Southwest Ranches. Of the 800 elementary schools invited to the World Championship, we are the only team representing the town of Southwest Ranches at this competition. Through our fundraising efforts with Give Butter and other sponsorships, we've been able to supplement some of the cost for the children traveling. Give Butter is a website similar to GoFundMe, where all the proceeds go directly back to the students. The difference between the two websites is that Give Butter donors have the option to donate on the front end rather than have to go make up for it on the other end. Our goal is to cover the flights for all the students on our team attending the competition. In order to do this, we would need to raise about $5,000. We appreciate any donations that the town of Southwest Ranches can supply, and we would like to encourage you to share this information with any members of the community who would be proud to support these students. Our students are members of Southwest Ranches community, and with your support, they will positively represent the town when competing in Dallas.
Awesome.
Hi, my name is Zachary Masong, and I am a part of the Hawks Bluff Elementary RoboHawks. Today we are here to tell you a little bit about VEX IQ Robotics. Robotics is a fun way to learn and interact with robots. The robots we build are built by our 4th and 5th grade students that have signed up to do robotics. The game this year in robotics is called the VEX IQ 2023 Slapshot. For this year's game, you have to knock discs out of towers, and then later the disc will be counted up as points. The goal is to knock as many towers down in 1 minute as possible, and at the end of each tournament, there are awards given to qualify for the next competition. In robotics, it takes skills such as teamwork, cooperation, dedication, perseverance, passion, and sportsmanship. Thank you for your time, and I hope you learned a little bit about robotics.
Hi, I am Miles Gazes, and I'm here talking on the behalf of Team RoboHawks. The competition that we are going to in around a week is known as the 2023 VEX IQ Worlds Competition. Worlds is a way to learn different languages and interact with other countries and other states. Worlds is in Dallas and is a 3-day long competition, around 11 hours each day. We hope you are okay with donating on behalf of Southwest Ranches. Thank you.
Thank you again for this opportunity to share about our team, and we are glad to represent our community.
Have a good night.
What an awesome team. Yeah, thank you. Hold on just a second. Hold on. Allie?
Allie, can you come back up? You mentioned a GoFundMe site.
I can't even find it. I was looking.
I was looking for that. If you could provide that to us. I don't have cash with me tonight.
Absolutely. We have cards with a QR code, and it has more information about our students.
It's definitely
Perfect.
not called peanut.
And I'd also like to say that we have two of our HOAs in town that are making donations, the Sunshine Ranches and the Rolling Oaks. Here, let me do this.
Oh my goodness, thank you.
So, yes, fantastic. Thank you. Awesome job. You all are doing an amazing job, and thank you.
Mayor,
Yes. Yeah,
if I could interrupt, I have a suggestion.
yeah.
Emil maintains a fund that is non-taxpayer fund. And I think we should tap that fund to help the team out. These are
I
our
would love to.
children.
Yep.
And I would like to suggest that we put $2,000 to their.
All right.
Is that a motion?
I made the motion. If I could get a second, it'd be a great day.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Anybody want to argue with that? I don't think so. Awesome job. All right, please call the roll on that. Any
Public comment.
public comment on that?
Councilmember Hartman?
Seeing none, go ahead.
Councilmember Hartman?
Yes.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Kozinski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Albritton?
Go get him, yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Awesome.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
And just so you know that most of us up here, my sons are 32 and 33. They went through Hawks Bluff. So did the other council members too. So
That's awesome.
It's our town. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
standing up there is Nicole from Sunshine Ranches Homeowners
Yeah.
Association to make her presentation.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. From Sunshine Ranches, we're very proud of you guys and all your effort and hard working. So we want to make a donation for all of you to keep succeeding.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And Barbara Lester?
Hi. I'm presenting you with a check from Rolling Oak Civic Association.
Wow.
Good luck to you.
We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you so much. We're so proud of you.
I think I speak on behalf of all of us that we're incredibly overwhelmed with this generosity and grateful, and we would love to come back sometime and share our experience and really show what this means to us. So
Please
thank
do.
you.
If you're-
Thank you so much.
Yeah, if you're taking any sort of a video of when you're there, we would love to have that shown in a future council meeting.
Absolutely, and we'll have a banner, and we would love to
Great.
represent you guys
Yeah,
on,
there you
on
go.
all of the things. So thank
Yeah.
you so much. This is incredible.
Awesome.
you again.
Thank you. Best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Is this a great council meeting or what?
Very nice way to start it. Absolutely.
Can we adjourn it right now? I don't know. All right, we'll give it just a second to kind of, yeah.
Hopefully I didn't catch everybody. My too big a surprise on that.
No, you know, we were trying to. Yeah, yeah, that's what I was expecting. Yeah.
It's his hearing, and you just didn't hear it.
Good job, Dave.
Okay, let's go ahead and pick up our agenda again. The next item on our agenda is a presentation of our Stormwater Master Plan from Kimberly Horn and Associates.
had prepared a presentation.
Okay. Mayor?
Yes.
Council, if I may. So this is Kimberly Horn, and I know we went through the presentation at DAB, but they're here to go ahead and present it to you and to the audience here
Right.
as well in the council meeting.
Thank you. Thank you, Rod.
And do we have the presentation?
The pointer's right.
Okay.
Yeah, she's going to load it up for you.
All right. Oh, it's up. Okay, I'm going to get started. So as Rod said.
If you can just pull the mic over.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Okay. So as Rod said, my name is Tiffany Stanton. This is Matt Brosman. We're here with Kimberly Horn. We've been putting together, over the last maybe 9 months, a stormwater master plan for you guys. So just for kind of catch everyone up, a stormwater master plan really is a document meant to guide you over the next few years when it comes to budgeting for your stormwater projects and prioritizing those stormwater projects. And it also, we were able to come up with areas that we feel that would help the town and what projects you should prioritize on. So I'm going to dive right in. This is basically what we had gone through putting together the stormwater master plan for you. So we kicked off July of last year in the middle of rainy season. So we kicked it into high gear and started our field visits right away. That was shortly followed with public outreach. We came and presented to you guys, presented to the residents so that we can collect data, hear what the residents had to say about areas of concern, and we can match that up with what we were seeing in field visits as well as, our modeling. From there, we met with local agencies. So we met with South Florida Water Management District, Broward County, South Broward Drainage District, and Central Broward because they're the experts in the area. We wanted to see what they're finding out here so we can compare what we're finding as well. So we brought all of that together. Oh, and also we gathered a bunch of documents. I mean, we gathered models from all of these agencies. We compared them with our models and any kind of documents that you guys had for your drainage improvements and planning over the last, however many years. So from there, we prepared a huge model that represents your entire town. In all of its systems. And that helped us identify certain areas that we felt that maybe you were deficient and could use some improvements. From there, we started putting together, areas that are improvements that we know would help out those areas. And that helped us put together cost of what we think it would be so we can help you plan out over the next 15 years. So we modeled all those, wanted to make sure that they work. And then we prepared a CIP for you guys. So that helps you understand what it's going to cost to get this done over the next 15 years. And then we finalized that stormwater master plan. Actually, today it was finalized. It's in the final QC. Next week, it's going to be ready for you guys. And then lastly, present to council, which is what we're doing now. So I'm going to run through some of the exhibits that we had put together so you can kind of see what went into this. This is our study area, the entire town, broken up into, these are the different basins that we had broken the town up into. Nope. So this is your system. This is essentially the secondary system of the town. The main canal, South Broward maintains most of your canals as well as Central Broward. And then we also took into account the tertiary systems, that the extra little finger canals, we incorporated all of that into our modeling. So this is where we found some deficiencies in our site visits. We went out, took a bunch of pictures, and those were the areas that we actually observed a significant amount of flooding during some of the bigger events you guys had last year. So these are the priority areas that we had come up with. This is where we saw the most flooding, and these were the projects that we feel, should be prioritized to really improve your stormwater management. So this is just an example of some of the results we had from our model. This is a 100-year storm event throughout the town, and where we were seeing some of the higher storm depths. So this is just an exhibit showing what you guys have done in the past. You guys have done great, keeping up with your stormwater management system. I know you guys have a few in the works right now. So this is just, understanding what you guys have done, and some of these projects that we're proposing are, going even further and into the future. So this is just an example of what we were putting together. We put together some exhibits of what we think these improvements would look like. We have a lot of really good experience when it comes to actual drainage projects and in construction, so we definitely incorporated that. This is a very high-level study, very conceptual. There was no real engineering, permitting, and construction with this, but with our experience, this is what we feel is feasible. And then on the right is an example of what we had put together for cost for individual projects. So we broke it down. We have unit costs, real unit costs of what we're experiencing now. We really want to help you budget out what it's going to take to do these projects. So this is basically the end of it. This is what we are working towards. So this is a list of all the projects. This is what we think it's going to cost every year to do these projects per fiscal year within 15 years. And the very last line item incorporates operation maintenance, because you got to maintain your stormwater system and you need a budget for that. So that's it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for having us and allowing us to help you out with this. We've really
Great.
appreciated it.
Great. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Any comments or questions or?
Yeah. Rod, you have?
Yeah, just really quick, and I just want to thank the Kim Lee Horn staff. They've been very, very good. They've listened to our concerns. They've gone out in the field. They've verified a lot of different things, and they've been a great partner so far. I did want to touch on a little bit about the finalized document, because obviously with any kind of budget and any kind of PO or anything like that, at some point we have to quote unquote finalize the project. But the way that we're designing it and doing it is that as flood events happen, as new information comes along, the document itself, it's easily modifiable. Okay, so we're creating it in a way that we could add information at any time. So that should help out.
That's great. Yeah, awesome. Perfect. Council, any comments, questions for the staff?
Good job.
Yeah, good job. I'd like to say, for myself, I know we waited a long time to see this plan. I remember literally 15, 18 years ago trying to piece something together. So this is awesome. It's going to be great to help us prioritize our projects. It's going to be a great tool for us to get funding for our projects and to make sure we're working when we do it, that we're doing it in a way that sees the big picture as opposed to just plugging a hole there or plugging a hole someplace else. So I'm excited about it. All right, thank you. Maybe you want to have a seat, and then we'll open up to the public. They may have some questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, is there any public comment on this item?
I'm shocked.
Noel Hollingsworth, 199th Avenue. When we first started this project, they were going to identify all of the areas using the maps and everything that drainage worked on for many years. And then say what the solution was, not the costs or anything else, just like we're going to need 200 foot of pipe to connect to this canal over here. And we're going to have to put some drainage over here. And they were going to identify all the areas that needed work. Well, at drainage the other night, it was the same dog and pony that came through tonight. They said, we'll put the report so you can review it before the council meeting. We'll put it online. It's not online. All I'm seeing is the same dog and pony. I have a specific question, and I'd like for them to answer it. And that is, the north end of 199th, how are they going to alleviate the flooding that takes place every time it rains, considering there's no outlet to any drainage there? What is the solution that they have? I know what the town has been saying for 15 years. What is their solution? And I'd like that answer. They can look in their book right now and tell me what the answer is. So, and then I don't think they have an answer. I really don't think they have an answer for almost anything because they haven't documented it, they haven't shown it to us, and they're asking you to accept the report. And have you read it? Have all of you got the report to read? You have?
Yeah.
Then why isn't it online like they said they were going to put it? So the residents can take a look at it. They haven't. I say don't accept it till it's online and we have a workshop with the residents for all the problems that are in the town to identify and make sure that they're covering everything and we're getting what we paid for. Because all I see that, oh, well, we'll take care of that mañana. That's what I see. And what I saw tonight was a dog and pony. Thank you.
No. Here.
Thanks, Newell. Any other public comment?
Thank you, Newell. That's the whole thing? Thank you, Newell.
George Morris, Chair of the Drainage Board. With respect to Newell, we did have a workshop. It was just last week. It was open to the public. We had many residents come out and discuss different things, and we had some good ideas and input. And so we definitely had a workshop, and we're on it. So,
Great.
And they did put on an excellent presentation, I thought. So thank you.
Thank you, George. Any other public comment? Yeah.
Good evening to all. I think that we're all here for the same reason. We want to keep the town beautiful and safe. My name is Cristina Lopez. I live in Southwest Ranches for the last 23 years. Lately, what we are noticing, the residents in that area of 192nd between Griffin Road and 50th, is that our country states is turning into a parking states.
We're going to have a this discussion is for this particular item. We are later on in the agenda. We will have a public comment on any item that you would like to bring up.
Okay.
Which is, I think, the appropriate place. I don't think this is a drainage discussion.
No, it is not
comment,
a drainage.
right?
No,
If
it's
I
a
could
public
please
comment.
ask you to just public comment on this particular item.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. That's
Nothing
okay.
to do
Thank you
with
for
the
coming,
drainage.
and I
But
apologize.
It's very important also because
Yeah.
we do get flooded.
Yes, we'll definitely. I
Yeah.
promise.
So we do have a lot of issues in the town that need to be taken care of, and that is definitely one of them. Do you want me to continue?
Yeah,
on-
no, you're going to be first in 1 minute, so if you can
Oh,
just sit
okay, no
right in
problem.
the front, and I'll call
Okay,
you first.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Thanks for coming out, though. Appreciate it. Any other public comment on this item? All right, seeing none, close public comment. I think the presentation, what I've seen is the right level of detail for this. It provides not a level that's property by property, which will change over time, and we would be throwing away a ton of money if we went to that level, but it's at a level where it breaks out all of the significant projects, how we're going to address the issues that have been identified in town, and most importantly, what Rod was saying is that, this is not a static as we do different projects, as the land settles, as different things happen in town, the drainage changes. And so this will be a good tool that can continue to be modified and improved and kept up to date as time goes on. So I think it's been a long time coming, and I'm thrilled to be able to get it. Any other council comment on this item?
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
first of all, I want to thank Rod and Emily for finding the money for this. Because without your efforts, Rod and Emily, who's not here, your efforts finding the money and securing this, I applaud you very much. And second of all, I would like to see something that Newell spoke about, because he comes to me when it rains and he says, I'm flooded again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a concern for the town. It's in the town, so.
Absolutely.
It's an issue. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the purpose of it, is to identify those areas that need work the most. Well, whether it needs to prioritize them for the ones that need it most, but frankly, to look at the entire town, which is something we've never been able to do before, and put together a plan taking into account all the different areas in town and their different varying needs. So it's good to have it. All right. I think we're good there. Thank you all for coming out. Appreciate it. All right. The next item on our agenda, we're not taking a vote on that, right?
No.
It's just a presentation. I just want to make sure. Okay. All right. I got too many papers here this evening. All right. So we are very fortunate with the staff that we've got. And I would like to read a proclamation into the record for our municipal clerks, who do a tremendous job for us. And we are truly thankful for all that you do. Keep us on track, keep us out of trouble, and doing the right things. Whereas the Office of Professional Municipal Clerk a time-honored and vital part of local government exists throughout the world, and whereas the office of professional municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of professional municipal clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and agencies of government at other levels, and whereas the professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all, and whereas the professional municipal clerks serves as the information center on functions of local governments and community, and whereas the professional municipal clerks continue to strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the professional municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of the state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations, and whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the professional municipal clerks. Now therefore, be it proclaimed by the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches the week of April 3rd through May 6th, 2023 as Professional Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our professional municipal clerks, Russell Munez and Deputy Town Clerk Deborah Ruga, and to all professional municipal clerks in the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the community they represent, dated this 27th day of April, 2023. Thank you all very much. We are truly fortunate. We really are. You all do an amazing job. Thank you.
High five.
Okay. We are here at public comment.
Mayor, we took out from the public comment those who already spoke about robotics and
Okay.
some other things. So we have 4 speakers.
Thank you.
Christina Lopez, as I mentioned, you're number 1. So now it's time to speak.
You all kind of heard my concern here, or the concern of some of the residents where I live. Like I was saying, it has become a permanent parking lot for commercial vehicles. We have trailers, we have containers, shipping containers, we have heavy equipment, we have buses, crashed cars, you name it, it's all being piled up on 192nd. Really, it is a country states, and we love our fruit trees and we love our animals, but we don't want to be in a dump either. So the main thing here is seeking guidance on how we can be all in compliance with the bylaws of the town, which I believe is 1 commercial vehicle per house. I'm in compliance. My neighbors next to me are in compliance. I would like for the rest of the neighborhood to be within that compliance, because it only enhances the neighborhood for better, for the good of everybody. So I'm here to seek guidance on how can we go about making everybody in the town be in compliance.
Great, great. Let's go through public comment, but I promise to address your question.
Yeah, I have a question for her, but I can wait.
All right, why don't you don't normally come out, let's go ahead and we'll break all our rules. Go ahead.
192nd, is that Griffin 345?
That is off Griffin Road, right
No.
after Grace Baptist Church, the first left.
Yes.
Mhm.
So it's further, okay.
Yeah. It's the road that goes down and then goes
190
like a dog leg into,
Got it.
193rd, I'm
I
sorry.
thought it-
193rd.
193rd.
193rd lane, I'm sorry. I'm on 192nd.
yes.
It's 193rd lane.
193rd is the road that goes to 192nd.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So
That's
Christie's
correct.
Ranches?
Yes, yes, exactly.
Okay.
That's
But I think it's on 193rd before you get to Christie's Ranches.
correct.
correct.
That is correct. I'm in
Correct.
Christie's Ranches. Uh-huh.
Perfect. So let me just say, have you contacted Code on this yet?
I did contact the code enforcer, and I talked to Manfred. And what I was told was that in order for them to be proactive, they needed a written
They need someone to
complaint
file,
with,
yeah.
which becomes public record, which anyways, I'm I guess I'm public
Yeah,
now.
at this point, it's done.
Exactly. So I don't have a problem. I'll write the complaint. I just want our town to be the way it's supposed to be. I don't want
Yeah.
to live in a dump.
Yeah, yeah, it's not personal, it's not, you
No,
know, it's not a vendetta.
It's for
just-
everybody. It's for the
everybody.
good of everybody.
That's
yes.
correct.
Mhm.
That's correct. So I appreciate
Correct.
you bringing it up.
Right. It's nothing personal and nothing against anybody.
Correct.
But we are turning into a dump. We really are. It's not one house, it's not two houses, it's more than 3 houses.
Right.
So people are
Okay.
taking advantage of the fact that we're not abiding by the rules. And if they can do it, I can do it, and then everybody's doing it, and then we come in through 193rd and we're like, wow, we live here?
Yeah.
Really? We
Yes.
pay taxes to live here? No, it's not right.
Gotcha, gotcha. Let me introduce you to Julio in the back there. He's the head of our code.
Yeah.
If you all can maybe have a few minutes to speak this evening, that would be awesome.
All right.
Thank you for coming out.
All right, thank you.
Great, thanks.
All right. Mayor John Garrotti, followed by Newell Hollingsworth, followed by final speaker Debbie Green.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. All right. I'm John Garrotti. I live on 162nd Avenue. I've been in front of you guys several times, and yesterday was a really interesting day. I'm not going to speak of specifics because we all know what we're talking about, but it was a very sad day for the town and a very positive day for the resident that went through a 7-hour ordeal in court due to one of our lovely council members that's sitting on this council today. And I'm not going to mention names, but we know who.
Listen, if you have something to say,
do have
then
something
say
to say.
it. But
I'm
we're
saying
not
it, and
here
I'm gonna be
to
brief.
point out
I'm not.
and
Did I
get
mention,
personal.
Steve, I didn't
You understand
mention
me?
names. I didn't mention a name.
It doesn't.
It does matter.
Goes
It does
beyond
matter 'cause
naming
the gentleman,
names.
The gentleman is a resident, and what he needs is a letter of apology, is what he needs. So, I'm not going to drag it out, but what happened yesterday, I'm glad you got a smirk on your face, Bob.
You're absolutely right.
I'm so happy you do. From $500,000 and from a judge looking at our town attorney in the face, stating how incorrect our processes are, was amazing. So that recording that we have, what a great day in the town of Southwest Ranches. The resident that went through the 8-hour ordeal yesterday, let me tell you something. He did have a great night's sleep because he's no longer being pursued and persecuted as he was for 4 years. So we all know what we're talking about. You know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what you've done. So you know what? It is a great day in the town of Southwest Ranches. Super great day. That's all I have to say.
Great.
Have a good day, Bob.
Who's next?
Noah Hollingsworth, about solid waste management and what they discussed tonight, the county's little game. And the incinerator that they want to put out at the dump out west on Sheridan and Griffin, and not Griffin, but 27. They say that it's going to be a state-of-the-art incinerator and that they're going to send all of the details to Andy as to what the nitrogens and CO2 and carbon emissions and all that sort of stuff. But then I asked the other thing, what are you going to do with the ash? You're going to dump it on the ground right there. It's not going to be hauled anywhere. It's not going to be hauled to a site that would be set up for that. It's going to be dumped on the ground there. They said, well, we'll have to put a liner down. And I said, and what are you going to do with the wastewater? He says, well, that'll go in the canal there. That's what I was told tonight by the gentleman. So that's going to have arsenic and all sorts of good stuff in it. And as they said, well, we did at the Willebrator. I said, yeah, that was on a saltwater marsh. I said, you're going to put it on our well field for Pembroke Pines, for Southwest Ranches, for Davie, for Weston. That's all going to be our well field. I said, where are you going to haul it? Where are you going to do? He says, no, it's going to be right there. That is a dump. So you've got something real work to do before this comes back up at the end of next month to vote on it. You've got it. And they said, well, we won't pollute. I said, if it's polluting, can we shut it down by saying you're polluting? No, we don't have the authority to do that. You know, we couldn't shut it down. Well, they're going to put it there. And just like they did 40 years ago, when we had to fight the dump out there for them to put the correct safeguards in, we're going to have to do it again. We may have to end up lying in front of the bulldozers again, as we did in 1980 out here. Otherwise, we're going to end up what Sunshine Ranch has got because of the dump across the canal. They're going to have to put in city water for everyone out west. And they're not going to want to do that. They're going to say, well, that's a municipal problem, not ours. Well, guess what? We have a problem there. Now, the other thing is, which I was talking about, was what you, could I have another minute? Was about this drainage problem. What I was given by Bob is the exact same thing that I had right there before that was in the back. That is not a report. That doesn't detail anything. That doesn't say anything. They said Thursday night that they would put it online before this meeting. It is not online, the full report, saying where all the problem areas are and what the problems are there, et cetera, et cetera. There's nothing. So they've got how much it's going to cost, a cost thing, but they can't tell us where the problem areas are, or they won't. Why can we do a cost thing? My personal opinion right now is they got the money for free and gave us nothing yet. Because they were supposed to, when it was being discussed by this group, they were supposed to identify the problems and give the possible solutions for each one of the problems, townwide. So if we needed to get an easement, we would be able to get that easement by having that report. Thank you.
Thanks, Noel. We have any other speakers? Oh, Debbie. Okay. Thank you, Debbie.
Debbie Green, 5201 Southwest 199th.
Hi, Debbie.
Hi. So I also have a lot of concerns in regards to this incinerator that's going out there. So I hope you all listen to all that Newell had to say, that you all look into it, staff and all, into what kind of pollution, noise pollution, whether the contaminating wells, as he's saying. I mean, that's all yours expertise, so I'll leave it to you, but I just ask for all of you to please be there and support all of the residents and those residents that are out west where they're planning to put this.
Absolutely.
All right. And then the other is, I just hope at this point that now everyone's had the opportunity has been out west and has seen the beautiful new country estates entryway signs. We finally came to fruition, and they were all installed last month. So again, I just wanted to thank the town for the beautification grant, Rod and Emily for all their guidance throughout the process, and they had lots of patience for me. To Bob for the fantastic design of it, and also for being that one that I just needed a helping hand or just support on the phone with the sign company. And Jim Lasky, who donated all the nuts and bolts, and a huge thank you to the Weekly family, who donated all their time and their machinery to install all 11 of our signs.
Yeah, it was huge. It was
So
huge.
it was
Yeah,
a
Weekly is
huge
fantastic. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that's what I want to say. So thank
Good.
you all very much, and hopefully everyone's been out there to see them.
Great. Thank you, Debbie. All right. Seeing no further public comment is closed. Any board reports this evening?
Good evening, Council. Yes, George Morris, Chair of the Drainage Board. Last Tuesday, April 18th at 7 p.m., we had a meeting. For the most part, our new business items were the project. We had a workshop for the Southwest 63rd Street and Southwest 54th Place. We had a presentation by Craven Thompson. as well as we went over the stormwater master plan. We had a presentation as well, and the public was there with the workshop, everything else like that. We had questions and answers, etc., and that was put on by Kim Lee Horn. So that's pretty much the gist of it. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Appreciate it. Hey, Debbie.
Debbie Green. Okay, I'm going to speak on behalf of the Ed Board. We had a couple big events. Well, we had one big event last year, the Barn Dance, which was super successful, tons of fun. The Flamingo fundraising efforts ended at the end of the month, and just wanted to give a huge shout out on behalf of the Education Advisory Board to the so many residents in the town that made that fundraiser a huge success again. And that one is just so special because it really is. It's fundraising it's donations from every part of this town, from the east side to the west side, the north and the south. It's just so many, over 100 residents that are passing along these flamingos. So that's that. And then just a reminder for all the kids to get their college scholarships into town. I think it's the end of May 26th that the applications are due into Town Hall. Thanks.
Great, thank you. Any other board reports? Seeing none. Council member comments.
I'll go, Mayor.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Town Hall.
Absolutely.
Had quite a festive night tonight and a very productive night. I was real happy to see that. Just want to start out with a few announcements, and then I have some commentary. Coming up, this Saturday is Hazmat at the barn. Bring all your old tires, paint, electronics, fluorescent light bulbs, etc. It's an in and out process, very quick, only for the residents of our town. And it's a great service that's provided 4 times a year. So I urge everybody to use it. Memorial Day is the 29th of May. Town Hall will be closed. That's a Monday. The DMV Flowmobile will be here on the 24th of May. And it goes from, you need a reservation. Call Deborah at the clerk's office to set that up. Deborah, what is the time for that again? 10 to 2, thank you. We have a different code hearing this coming month. It'll be on Thursday. So it's very important. It's jumping around a little bit due to unforeseen circumstances. It's on the 4th at 9 a.m. On Thursday, May 4th. The Broward County Property Appraiser is going to be here on the 2nd of May. That's Tuesday, and from like 10 to 2, or no, I'm sorry, 10 to 12, if you have any situations that you need taken care of that. And that's all I have on the usual notification stuff. Yeah, there's something else I'd like to discuss. I know we're going to tackle this later on in the month, and I realize you're going out of town, Mayor. But I was reading over the noise ordinance, and I just want to make a little commentary on it. One of the issues that I have with the noise ordinance is the special events that we have that's allowed to be an exception in the noise ordinance, and that's usually the thing that's going to generate the most noise and the most activity and the most problems. And I'm really an advocate to change that to where special events should be held to the same standard as the homeowners,
100%.
Anybody else in the whole thing. And I think that if there's a tweak we got to make to it, that would be my first choice.
Yep.
That would be my pick. So I don't know if the rest of you guys have read through it, but I've gone through it.
I've read through it myself, and I agree 100%. That was definitely one of the items on my list. I'm not. There's some other tweaks I'd like to do on there as well, but that was a number one on my list as well.
Yeah, and I see this, coming because we've got some Airbnbs coming around, And I'm also leading up to another item, and that is I think we need to take a hard look at the possibilities of regulating the Airbnb since they are businesses and they are operating under the radar and they're creating probably the most problems in most neighborhoods that I can see. We've had a shooting 2 weeks ago in Rolling Oaks at an Airbnb where the guests were inebriated and
Right.
decided to have a the OK
Crazy.
Corral out in the front yard.
Right.
And, I could just see that multiplying and mushrooming. Green Meadows has had problems with it. It's had problems out
On
in
my street.
Yeah, out in Country Estates. Sunshine Ranches is legendary for it at this point, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I think the time has come when we need to take a hard look at what we can do legally to bring some of that, some control, some element of control to that because it's going out of control and it's only going to get worse because speculators are coming in, they're buying the properties when they know they can get $2,000 a night plus, and that's on a Monday, and they can get, triple that on a Saturday, Sunday, type of rental for those. It's turning into a party city, that kind of sense runs, and it's disrupting a whole neighborhood. So I'm kind of segueing into, things that I think we need to be looking at here post haste, May, June, July, and go from there. And so I just wanted to plant that bug in everybody's ear because I'm going to be bringing it up later, and as I'm sure other people will also up here at the dais. So, and that's all I have, Mayor.
Great. Thank you, Gary. Both really important items. Thanks for bringing them up. Yeah, Bob.
I only have a few things. Julio, did you get Mrs. Lopez's phone number? Okay. If you would, share it with me so I can reach out. Thank you. I'm with you, Gary, on regulating the Airbnbs, but that's one of the things that Tallahassee is looking to take out of our hands. There's a bill right now. I've been following as many as I can, and there's a lot of really crazy ones where they're taking away home rule, but it looks like they're attempting to remove our control over Airbnbs within our communities.
Yeah,
They're going to regulate it at the
but
state
it
level
is
and
a-
eliminate our ability.
But I'm looking at it as it is a business, so it should have a certificate of use.
Sure.
It should have an inspection, okay? And there should be some form of, when the business is being utilized, maybe some registration form or something that can let the police know that there's going to be a party there and let the residents know that there's going to be a party there.
Yeah, I think there's a middle ground. You're absolutely right. They continue to take away our ability to control our own destiny, but you're absolutely right. There's more that we can do than what we're doing today. And so we've got to do everything we can.
Right. Well, we don't have the final version of that yet. I mean, one of the things that they were screaming about on that is a city like Fort Lauderdale that may have thousands of Airbnbs that they have to regulate. They're supposed to get $50 for an application fee once a year to regulate that and, to administer it, I should say.
Right.
So there was a lot of screaming in Tallahassee about $50 by a lot of the larger cities that will be losing money trying to administer the state system. So until we get the final version, who knows what it's going to be, but it doesn't look good right now.
Yeah, there's not a lot of good coming out of Tallahassee at the moment.
No, there is not. I'm not going to address the nonsense that was thrown at me earlier, but Keith,
You want me to do it for you?
the incinerator. Let's talk about the incinerator for a minute or two. How can we try to stop this from being built in our town? I mean, we've gone after the county and they've backed down on things in the past. If you remember years ago, Bergeron wanted to convert all that methane and use it for jet fuel to generate, using jet engines, electricity in our backyard. So what can we do to stop the county if they do decide, or what can we do to lobby the county or try to stop them from putting it out here before they make the decision?
Yeah, I think based on Commissioner Furr's comment tonight, it's going to be a very difficult road to go down.
So I think it is going to be very difficult, but I think that the points that Newell brought up are real and they are exceptional, And frankly, I think we need to get the EPA involved to determine exactly what are the materials that it's going to generate, where are they going to put them. You know, if they're going to generate these materials, you know, and they're going to build it there, at a minimum, they've got to find someplace else to store them. They cannot store it on site, on top of our wells, with our water right below it. That's, you know, so we have to, you know, if we can't, job one is to stop it. Job two is to make sure that it does not pollute our water supply and
Air.
and air.
Do we know the exact site? If they're
Yeah, well, they've identified a site.
Where
They will have two sites, but from what I heard tonight, they have one site.
where's the site that would affect us?
It's basically out there where the prison used to be.
Oh,
It's
okay. I thought-
well, it's in that location.
It's on the dump.
be-
It's going to be on
Which
the
is right next door to the
27
prison.
part of the
That's what
dump.
I'm saying. It's in the same, it's the same.
So-
It's not in our town. Let me be clear about that. It's not in our town. It's Broward County property out there where, you know, frankly, if you live east of Flamingo Road, you feel like there's nothing out there and it's just.
Naples.
Yeah, it's Naples. But frankly, it's our backyard.
So, Mayor, where I was trying to go with it, although I think it's going to be a difficult road, I think the first step would be engaging an engineer who specializes in this sort of matter, because although I understand that job one is to try to block it completely, that also comes with job two, which is if it is going there and we can't stop it, we better ensure that the compliance is more than what the EPA or anyone else would require.
Correct.
And to really force the county's hand to
Keep it clean.
Right, and to put the latest stacks on it, et cetera.
Yeah.
So I would recommend that you all go out sooner than later to find an expert, you know, to start assisting you with that process.
Yeah, I'd like to, Andy, give direction to start that tomorrow morning.
I agree.
If anybody disagree with that, I think we're all on board.
Yeah.
There's another aspect to this as well. If you go out to the recycling plant that's out on Pembroke Road out there off of 27, it's a constant stream of garbage trucks all day long. I mean, that's what they're there for, to pick up, you know, to take the tipping. Can you imagine the traffic that's going to be generated on Griffin Road if this is the selected site? Now we've got roughly a country road out west on Griffin Road that's a 2-lane road that's going to be smothered in garbage trucks from when they open until they close. And, you know, the county keeps telling us there's not enough traffic. Well, they just put it on there. So, something else to pursue. Yep. I think that's all I have. Thank you.
No other good news, Bob?
Good news.
Just teasing, just teasing. No, it's important. It's important stuff. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
David?
Thank you for everybody that stuck around. When Ms. Lopez spoke, there was an issue that she was discussing about a code complaint. And a couple of years ago, we had the anonymous code complaint. And I believe everybody on this council supported the anonymous feature of the code, making code enforcement complaints. But Tallahassee took that away from us. So aside from the issues that we have for primary enforcement, like dark skies ordinance or bulk that's out early, most of those issues, you have to put your name on there. And it's something that I really didn't like. So unfortunately, we're stuck with the rules that Tallahassee passes down to us. It was nice to see Astor come out tonight. I always like seeing him and talking with him. Just a great guy for our town. It's circled around that former Mayor Doug McKay was in the hospital. I want to wish him a speedy recovery because, you know, having those health issues is really, really trying. My father actually went through the heart issue as well. Let's go to the Rural Arts and Design Advisory Board. Right now, the Rural Arts and Design Advisory Board is in the process of redesigning Southwest Rancher. You can see this, there's a suggested cover. Make it less busy on the cover and hopefully have color photos all the way through the issue. I think it'll be a great change for that magazine, make it more attractive. Laura Warren's working on the Polycoff Founders Park mural. Now, if anybody drives out west on Griffin Road, just before you get to Flamingo Road, you see a little park off to the right. That is the Founders Park. And there's a wall right in between the park and CVS, and some beautiful mural going up there. And Ms. Warren is doing a wonderful, beautiful job on that. I want to thank her for that. Earlier, we saw Mr. Wesley come here from FPL. And he was discussing the issues with the hardening features going through the town, overhead lines and the underground. And I'd like to see if we can get a consensus from the council that we all support those efforts from FPL. I'd like to get a consensus from the council that we support those efforts.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing it. I was actually on my list too. I was going to ask Andy to bring a resolution to the next meeting or a future meeting. I won't be at the next meeting, and I'd like to be there, but I don't have to be. Okay. We want to do, but I'd love to see a resolution brought forward to support the hardening and the underground for our town, because I know our residents, by and large, are super excited about it. It's something we truly need with all of the trees and everything, the interruptions we have. And with the low population levels, we tend to be, understandably, last on the list to get power back. So it's an awesome program for our town. And I do understand that there are some individuals in town that are not happy with how it's going. I respect that. But from an overall, I don't want that to drown out the incredible benefits that will bring to our town. And I want to formalize that in a resolution. So I agree 1,000% with what you're saying.
Very good. Is that something we have to vote on or anything? I don't know.
No, we just give Andy direction.
Okay, fabulous.
He's got it.
All right. Now for some law and order issues. A couple of meetings ago, I was raising a concern about rampant mail theft in Sunshine Ranches. I think it wasn't even a week later. And in fact, there was a letter generated from Sunshine Ranches HOA requesting an increased police presence. That very same evening, a neighbor pursued a suspect that was, I guess it was a burglary issue related to that. But anyway, long story short, BSO had to bring in the helicopter. Davie Police brought in the K-9 unit because this suspect was going along Volunteer Road, lost control of his vehicle, ended up in the canal. And according to Davie Police, this guy was on foot for about an hour. He was apprehended, and as far as I can say, there are some federal charges for mail theft pending against this gentleman. I don't know gentleman, but this culprit. But I did learn last night that the mail theft is not over. There have been 3 issues of mail theft since then, so don't think it's over, folks. We are ripe for it. As Davie Police says, get your mail at 9 o'clock, lock your cars at 9 o'clock, don't leave your key fobs in the car. We still got to fight these folks. And keep your guns in your home.
Remember, after they do that, then they mess up your identity theft follows.
Yeah, that also can cause identity theft issues. I've been a victim 8, 9 times of identity theft. They like to come after people like me. Let's see. Now, I postponed last meeting. I was going to talk about the traffic violations for the month of March. I do got a summary of them. District 1 during the month of March had 19 traffic citations. 9 of those were speeding. All of those were either on Griffin or US 27. District 2, 13 traffic violations for the month of March. 8 of those speeding. All were on Griffin Road. District 3, 31 traffic violations. 13 were speeding. Only 1 was on an interior road. The rest of them were on Griffin. District 4, 40 violations. 31 were speeding. Only 2 of those were on interior roads. So the remainder of those were on Griffin Road. And then last issue, there was an email that was circulated. Now, when I first took the seat, there was a big issue with the proposed putting in a left turn lane on Sheridan Street, right by the BMW dealership. We opposed that. It was a successful issue that we did. Well, there was an email that went out a short while ago dealing with a car dealership over here at Griffin Road and I-75, formerly a Warren Henry site. And now one of these dealerships over there are going to add an additional 60,000 square foot of dealership and 60,000 square feet of parking structures. Now, I realize that this is not in Sunshine Ranches, but I would like to have a resolution from us opposing something like that because of the increased traffic once again on Volunteer Road, which was the issue that we had the problem with, that left turn lane. So I'd like to make a motion that we just make a resolution that we would oppose that and get it forwarded to the powers that be. And
I'll second that.
thank you.
So you're requesting a resolution on that item, correct?
Correct.
Right, so I think we can just give Andy direction to do that.
Oh, that's fine then.
Okay, is that all right? And then he'll bring it forward, and then we'll vote on it
All right.
in a future meeting?
Sounds great.
In the near future.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Okay.
One second, Mayor. Andy, do we have time for that? Do we know when the county's considering that item?
I don't know the answer to that, but I do have Jeff Kadams reviewing it, and so I need to touch base with him to find out what grounds we might have to object. So I had asked Jeff to draft a letter in opposition, but certainly the council resolution would be greater support for that as well.
So I get where you're going. I don't know what the timing is on it. Maybe we should do the letter immediately and then bring the resolution at the next meeting.
That's what we did. That's what we
is
did.
that all right?
Reinforce it that way, yeah.
Yes, let's do that. Let's do that.
Thank you. That wraps me up.
Great. Thank you, David. Yeah, Jim.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, I had 4 items, now I have 5. All right?
Usually for me, it goes the other way. I have 5 items and I end up with 1.
Terrible, terrible. Addressing Bob and Gary's issue about the Airbnbs, there was a great article in the DRW a couple months back from the commissioner at Cooper City, ways that they addressed that. I know Tallahassee may take those away, I understand that, but there were some great things that they introduced. If you get a chance to look back through your DRWs, I thought it was a great article myself, and maybe we could implement just some of them. Now that was what I added to my list. Now my list, the 4 items on my list, the town, as George mentioned, did have a workshop for the drainage, and I appreciate that. I went to the 11 homes on that street and invited the residents. 7 of them did show up. I know there were some good questions asked, and there was a timeline set for them so that they won't be blindsided by anything coming up. So I really appreciate that from the town and from, the Drainage Board for that presentation. I'd also like to say thank you to Manon Stevens for hosting a kids meet and greet at her house. Despite a little rain, it didn't put a damper on anything. There was plenty of food, plenty of beverage, and the kids had a great time with the bunny rabbits, jumping on the trampoline, and the snakes, of all things. They really enjoyed playing with the snakes, and it was a good time had by all. So I thank Manon for that. I did have the honor and the privilege today of reading a proclamation at the Archbishop MacArthur High School. Today marks the exact day, April the 27th, back in 1997, that they broke ground with the shovel in the ground to build a school. That was really a great thing. 3 of the students in the school, 3 of the seniors in the school, got together and developed a wall, a huge wall, of a timeline from the time it began till today, and broke it down into 2-3-year increments as it went along. I thought that was a magnificent project that they took on, and I really compliment them for doing it. But I do want to say thank you to Deb also for going with me. She kept me calm. She gave me some kind of a pill that was a wonderful pill, not sure what it was. I think it was Jack Daniels, I'm not sure, but I do thank you for that. We had a good time. Thank you, Deb. I appreciate you going with me, really do. And then last, the trailers that we have in town, the speed trailers, please, if you want it in your area, let me know. we're scrambling to try and find places to put them so that we don't put them in the same place over and over. I've gotten no emails this month from residents to where to put those trailers. We try to move them every 2 weeks. So if you're interested, let me know or let Tom here at Town Hall know, and we'll get them put in your area. They're great signs. They tell you how fast you're going. They flash. They do all kind of things to let you know they're there. So if you want one, let me know. That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Jim. Okay, a few items on my list. Some of them have been covered, but I'm just going to, go over some of them not. So the sound ordinance, Gary, appreciate you bringing that up. I wanted to, definitely there's some things in there that I think need some adjusting, and I'm excited that we're going to be able to take a look at that. I wanted to just let everybody know that we will be reviewing that on May 25th at 6:30. Please get the word out to your friends and neighbors if they have an interest in that one way or the other. The idea is to get as much discussion on that on both sides. You know, the idea is not to punish anybody, not to create issues. The idea is to find out where that middle ground is that makes the most sense for the residents of Southwest Ranches. So that's May 25th at 6:30. Also wanted to just give a shout out to former Mayor Doug McKay. I spoke with him the other evening, and he's back at home. He's recovering, and it was good to hear that he's doing better. So get better soon, Doug, and wish you the well. The last item I want to touch on, you know, when you sign up for this job, which we all did, I'm not sure we were all sane enough to do it, but, you know, here we are. When you sign up for this job, you sign up for a lot more than just sitting up here and making, statements about this, that, and the other thing. I feel that I could not feel more fortunate and honestly blessed by the individuals that I sit beside here and the work that they do and the love that they have for this town and this community. And when you sign up for this, you don't always get that desire, but these individuals all have it, and I feel very fortunate to serve with them. We're here to represent the residents, and inevitably, there has not been an issue that comes up before this council that was 100% of the residents feeling one way or the other. If it comes before the council, there's always a controversy. There's always some that feel one way and some that feel the other way. And so it's a difficult job up here to try and weigh that, but we try and listen to the residents. We try and weigh all of those items, and we try and do what's best for this town to preserve the rural lifestyle. Now, sometimes people have different visions of what the rural lifestyle is. I know we've talked about that in the past. And so we hear about that. But there's a lot of stuff. You sign up for one thing. There is a lot of controversy, and there is a lot of criticism that goes with sitting up here. And you know that when you sign up for it. But it's never enjoyable or what you hope to have, but it is. It comes. One of the things that, as was spoken about this evening, one of the things that came not internally, but from Tallahassee, was that you can no longer do anonymous complaints, as David brought up. And so what does that mean? That means that neighbors have to turn in neighbors if they want code to get involved. And so we all weigh that as residents. I'm not speaking as a mayor, I'm speaking as a resident, that I've weighed that as a resident. You know, is the pain of what's going on worth creating an issue and creating a fight over, you know? And so how that has translated out in some cases is, in many cases actually, is these individuals that are sitting up here on the dais with me, they get phone calls. And they get phone calls from individuals that say, listen, we've got a real problem out here, and something needs to be done, but I can't call. Because if I call, I've got to live next to this individual, and I will never be able to live this down, and it'll escalate, it'll turn into a really bad situation. And so these individuals that I'm sitting next to up here, they take it on themselves oftentimes to make those calls and to field those complaints. And then what they do is they put a huge target on their chest. And they take it, and they take it, and they take it, and you know what? They took it again tonight. And it's not right, it's not fair, they're serving the residents of this community, and, but these individuals will do it. And I admire you for what you all do, and I appreciate what you all do. And I'll leave it there.
Thank you, Steve.
All right. Legal comments.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of brief things. You mentioned code enforcement, and the one thing I want to tell you is I believe personally, in seeing this town for 23 years in existence and before, that the law to require code enforcement complaints to no longer be anonymous is going to have more and more repercussions for the town as we go forward. We have 8,000 residents. That means that everyone knows who's calling in a complaint against someone else, and it's becoming a situation where I was here today doing work with Andy, and every 5 minutes there was a code issue outside, police outside, different police forces outside, all dealing with resident against resident code issues because of the fact that they're no longer anonymous. I believe that in the near future, the council is going to have to consider changing its policies on forcing code enforcement to be reactive rather than proactive. And I think there's a way that the council may find a compromise between the positions. And that is, if something is open, notorious, in your face, that whatever the violation is, Julio's group can be more proactive on in being listed as the complainant of the violation, not forcing a resident to call in a neighbor, such as what we heard tonight on 193rd. And then I also believe, to that same extent, if there is a code that you believe is broken, that he shouldn't be calling someone in on, whatever the case may be, that it's your opportunity then to see what that issue is and modify the codes so that it works for the town. So each day it's getting worse and worse with the number of complaints that we're seeing. And in fact, yesterday was a great day in Southwest Ranches, and I'll get in there in a second. But Stephanie K. Wynn, who was the attorney for the other side, sat down. The first thing she did was call in a code complaint on her old property and blamed us for not taking care of it, to which we immediately called Andy, and I think we're taking care of it because I hadn't heard it before yesterday. So that was an attorney who used to live in the town calling in a code complaint on a former resident in the town. So I just personally feel that it has to end because we're pitting neighbors against neighbors constantly, and it's becoming more hostile. Every single time we see it, it's erupting into more and more police activity rather than just code enforcement activity. So why was yesterday a great day in town of Southwest Ranches? We had been dealing with an illegal operation in the town that was destroying the quality of life of a particular street and the residents on a street. We had a council member that, as you mentioned, took the burden of that street himself because of fear of retaliation from residents and brought it forward. And what did we seek in code enforcement? And that's compliance. Okay, that's all we seek is compliance. This one ended up, unfortunately, in litigation in order to achieve compliance. The property owner worked for 2 years on their property in an illegal activity without stopping for 1 day to bring that property into compliance. After about a half-day trial, the judge basically alluded to the fact of how he was going to rule. He basically said that he believed that the town deserves all of its money for that 2-year period that property owner was in violation. He believed that we were owed 12 or 19 days for another violation that the property owner had, and he believed that another violation may have come into compliance sooner, but for the fact that he was in violation for the principal business. What would have that meant? That would mean that that property owner would have owed the town nearly $100,000 in fines, plus all attorney's fees. So that property owner would have to shell out, when we did the math, nearly $200,000, $180,000, based upon the judge's decision yesterday. We had Councilmember Jablonski there, Vice Mayor Albritton there, watching the entire trial. So what did we do? We created an offer. Okay, why? Because both of these gentlemen and the council in general has said, we are trying not to be punitive. We're trying to ensure compliance and enable to make ourselves whole and move forward. We did the math. I got on the phone with a lot of you, and we did the math. And we determined that if this property owner paid all the legal fees and costs and made the town whole and agreed to never have that business operation ever again in the town of Southwest Ranches, that the residents got what they would want, which was the relief that they were seeking, plus the town would be made whole on its fees and costs. We presented that to the court, and today that individual accepted that offer, and I promise you the outcome would have been horrific for that individual had they not accepted that offer. The judge had made that very clear on the record. So clearly you weren't watching the judge or the trial.
Quiet. Quiet.
So, yeah, okay.
Mr. Garotti, please contain yourself.
Yeah. So you're, all I can tell you is, yeah, clearly. I look forward, to the fact that this matter is fully resolved. That property owner is going to pay us nearly $60,000 in fees. Their business is closed forever in the town of Southwest Ranches, and those residents get their lifestyle back. For the gentleman who's screaming out in the audience, we have two council members who were there yesterday who watched the entire proceeding and can verify verbatim what transpired at the hearing and what the judge said and where the judge was going with this one. So, that being said, Mayor, there are several of these that are now quickly speeding up. The gentleman who was shouting out in the audience, we have over 100 and something thousand in fines against that individual that we're also going to be seeking collection on. We have another two that I met with Andy about today that are working its ways up of individuals who refuse to follow the code, who get into litigation with the town. In that gentleman's case, he sued the town, but get in litigation with the town over the fact that they're not in compliance with the town code. So, I just believe that it's something in the future, in the near future, the town has to look at and make a determination on how it wants to proceed, because I truly believe that this current system is broken as a result of the new state law. I don't think it's working anymore. It's just creating hostility amongst the residents. Into the two other notes that you mentioned, I did speak with Andy and Russell today with Doug McKay. He is home, resting comfortably, and we're thrilled to see that he was able to come out of that, so quickly. So we're thrilled that he's home. On other issues that I have a sort of walk-on item that I want to discuss. You all recall we did the P3 on the property, the former CCA property for $16.8 million. We got a purchase price plus a profit sharing. That property still will be our future. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The economics that it will generate will be, forever for the town. MG3 had been dealing with the town for almost a year now, and we've been dealing with a lot of issues behind the scenes that, we bring up every once in a while at the council meeting, but, including wetland issues, and we've been trying to go through these issues to try to get them resolved, and that's what, sort of the delay has been. Dealing with that, septic, water, all those other things have all been things in the periphery that we've been dealing with. MG3, has a development partner, BBX Capital. BBX Capital is one of the largest development publicly traded companies that, Andy, I think he said today they do food, they do development, and one other thing.
Manufacturing.
Manufacturing, okay. They're an offshoot, originally Bank Atlantic, but then Bank Atlantic, he said Bank Atlantic stock is now Truist, and we went through everything with him on that. The reason why I say that is because it's a publicly traded company, we looked into it and we said, do any of our council members own more than 1% of the stock in this company? Unfortunately for the council, the answer is no.
Yeah.
You know,
Let me just say, so I worked for Bank Atlantic for a total of 15 years. I'm very familiar with a number of the players in that organization. I used to meet with them on a monthly basis. At one time, I did own a fair amount of stock in that organization. I thought I had sold it all back in 2015. Turns out I still have a couple straggler shares out there. So anyway, I just want that on the record.
yeah, absolutely. The reason I brought that up is because he believes your shares would now be with Truist, not with BBX Capital. So he thinks that you merged to the different side from where you were. So we did ask because I wanted to confirm with them. So what's before you? They want to build this, and they want to build this quickly, and they have the capital, financing, and more money to get this done quicker. So what they have asked is for MG3 and them to team up, where MG3 will assign them the contract rights, that they'd have 120 days to get this deal done and to, finalize everything and then close, with only 3 caveats to the contract that they had problems with being a publicly traded company. One was we had a right of first refusal in the contract. Sort of funny because if they build a $70 million property, it's doubtful that the town would ever want to pay the $70 million for the facility. So they asked us to change it to a right of first offer, meaning that if we wanted to buy it, we could. I can never see that happening in this town, but at least it gives us the option to buy it just in case. So they put that in the.
What's the difference between a right of first refusal and a right of first offer?
Right of first refusal is if they get an offer for the property, $75 million, we have the right to buy it for whatever that offer is.
Right.
The right of first offer is we can make the first offer and they can accept it or not. They believe that a right of first refusal devalues the property because of the fact that anyone making an offer is worried whether or not
We'll match it.
it's going to be matched. Yeah. And so that's why they had a problem with that. I've seen that before, so that was not, surprising to me, and it wasn't a change that we really had an issue with. The second thing that they asked is that
I guess my only question with that is not whether we would have the ability to buy it, whether Pembroke Pines would have the ability to buy it is my concern.
okay, it's a good question. I can put a clause in there, and I'm sure they'd agree to it. Andy, I know he's speaking to Noel. I will put a clause in there that says it cannot be sold to the city, to another governmental agency.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay? That will resolve that issue with no problem.
Let me ask you a question about that approach, though, and I'm not arguing with it. I'm just trying to understand. Never mind, it just clicked.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we will put that in there, and I'll tell them the reason is to ensure that the tax revenue remains on the property, and I'm sure they won't have a problem with that.
But I guess that's the question, Keith. If Pembroke Pines attempted to buy it, it's commercial real estate. It's not like they're going to convert it into swampland so they can devalue it.
They could.
Well, they could. I guess for $75 million, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
So I understand it's a good point that the mayor brings up, and I'm definitely going to include
That's why I
it.
clicked a minute ago, but it just doesn't make sense, but some things
The second
happen.
thing is, we had in the contract a long-term hold play on it. We really don't care how long they hold the deal for, because we get a percentage every time the deal is sold, a very nice percentage. So what they asked is that if they have the ability, they're not saying they're going to do it, but upon stabilization, which is 90% leased out, that they have the right to sell it at that point, or 3 years later. So that, they just had an earlier out, rather than, I think it was 7 or 10 years that MG3 had. So I didn't think that was an issue. Again, when they sell it, we get a major percentage of that sale. So it's an extra couple of $1 million for the town when it came down to it. And
Keith, you just said something that I didn't catch in my prior reads. So if this thing turns over 3 times in the next 10 or 15 years, we get a percentage?
we get a percentage every time.
Good job.
Yes. So every time we get a percentage of that, which is great. And the last point that they had, which was really minor, there really was, it was sort of a typo in the agreement that they caught. And it basically said that, they are paying $16.8 million for the facility. And if they ever defaulted on an issue, we could buy the property back for $16.8 million. Okay? So that meant to them that if they built it for the $70 million that they're building it for, we could always buy it back for $16.8 million. So
Good job.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
so,
a typo?
Yeah. Well, anyway. So what they asked us to do to change that is before they build, if there's a default, we could absolutely buy it back for 16.8. But after they build, they want to give us the lien right and the ability to foreclose, so that we're only getting back, what we're owed, not the entire 70 million. So why is this on the agenda? They want to start the 120 days immediately. I know some of you have vacations and other plans, so we didn't have an opportunity in the next little bit for the entire council potentially to all be in one room. So what I'm looking on is just a motion to approve this assignment, which what it will do is it will immediately start the 120-day clock for us to know if we have a final deal. And during that 120 days, they've already requested to come in and meet with Andy and engineering and everyone else in order to finalize the issues that Andy has been working on, the wetlands and the like, and figuring out the final cost. And just so that everyone in the public knows, the wetlands could range anywhere from $2 million to $10 million, in damages, in order to remove them or mitigate them. So a developer needs to know what that final number is, to make sure that their deal actually works, and we want them to before they start. And that's probably the number one issue on that property right now.
Right.
So we would ask just a motion to approve that joint assignment, and with those 3 changes, now 4, including the one that they can't sell to a governmental agency, and let's start the clock and see if we can get this sold.
I'll make the motion with all the changes.
I'll second it.
Happy to answer any questions. I know Andy and Russell were both on a long call today with BBX. We're very comfortable with them as a massive organization, that can get this done quickly.
The only thing I'll add to what Keith said is we'd have had this to you, but it didn't come together till we got the final copy after 6 o'clock this evening.
Gotcha. Great. Andy, how's our effort coming along, looking back in time, understanding any mitigation that might have previously been done on that property?
I don't have an answer on that yet, but working on parallel tracks, I had I'll say a very good meeting with the county, with Lenny Valpondo.
Yeah.
And I see a path there. If should worst comes to worst, I see a path that I look forward to sharing with BBX.
Okay. Thank you. Any other comment, questions from the council? Seeing none, is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none. You can please call the item.
Councilmember Hartman?
Yes.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Kozinski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Albritton?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Anything else, Keith?
I'm sorry, Mayor. That's it.
That's it? Okay.
I would like to make
Yeah.
a comment.
Yeah.
Keith alluded to it earlier about the code system, where a lot of times we shield the residents. What most people don't know, and I'm just going to put this out there on the record, is that we unfortunately put ourselves out there to the point where we get physical abuse and property damage to our homes. I know Bob has had problems with the code case that was just recently closed, where he has sustained vehicle damage and damage to his property that amounted to the thousands of dollars. I'm a frequent visitor to Home Depot and Burkhart's to buy sod and dirt to patch my yard from ATVs and large trucks doing donuts from various characters in town. So I just want to put that out on the record, that most people don't realize that because our name is on it, they don't know that there might be 5 other people that we're protecting, and we bear the brunt, unfortunately, of the animosity that comes out, for that. So
Absolutely.
just wanted to point that out to everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
And Mayor, one thing I want to say, which I've said to each of you, but, the brunt of what we take, is just part of this job.
Yep.
Sometimes gets to the point of absurdity. And, there was a recent news publication challenging me, and I immediately wrote back to the individual saying, there's not one scintilla of truth to this. Why would you post it? And they said, sorry, we'll take it down immediately. Okay? So they didn't want to deal with it because they realized it was totally made up.
Right.
So at some point, I do believe that, the council, may need to, push back and say enough with the lies. It's time to, stand our ground a little bit and stop some of the falsehoods that are being published.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a type walk that we're on. Each of us is on. We want to promote residents. We want to hear from residents. We want them to have the freedom to speak, but we want to hear the truth. And when you go on Facebook or when you read articles like Keith is talking about, or whatever it is, public comment, whatever it is, it goes with the job, but it's not right. It doesn't make it right. And so, but it is part of the job, and we all signed up for it, and you all do a great job of dealing with it.
Mr. Mayor, real quick, if I
Yeah.
could, I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you to Mr. Polyakov. I attended the hearing along with Councilman Jablonski, and what council said, the judge pretty much laid it out exactly as he said, and we went outside and talked, and the judgment that came back in, what we offered as a settlement, was far, far better than anything that the judge was going to give this gentleman had he not accepted it. And we didn't punish him. He paid for our costs, and we got what we wanted, was the clinic's gone. And I think that's exactly what we wanted. We didn't look to punish anybody. It's just he took a long time, and we got what we wanted. So thank you, Keith. I appreciate that.
Yeah, what to add to what Jim's saying, most people don't realize that, unfortunately, with a lot of code cases, the only tool in the toolbox that works is money.
Yep.
Yeah.
Being nice guys and saying, hey, stop doing this, doesn't work in most cases.
Yeah, it works with a lot of folks, but then you get to these types of situations.
Yeah, then you get
and-
the few that,
Yeah.
that come and destroy your lawn and, take us to court and, things go on like that. We don't go out of our way to harm people.
Correct.
People go out of their way to harm us.
Right.
And it's a difficult situation that we find ourselves in sometimes, but we have to do it.
Yep.
So.
Yep. All right, Andy, you're up.
I think you've all done a great job covering everything I had on my list. I will yield my time.
Awesome. Great. Thank you. All right. Item number 12, resolution.
This is
Mayor,
a,
Yeah.
Item, is it just 12 tonight? I thought there were multiple water agreements.
One.
Oh,
That was
it's
last
to the last one. Okay, no worries.
Good?
Yeah, I was going.
Meeting. Keep up.
We're okay, Keith?
The goal, I see what's coming, so
Yeah.
sometimes I draft these resos and they don't come for a
Right.
couple of weeks. And I was saying if there's 12 of them, just lump them all together, so, because they're all the same.
Right. We're just hassling you because we like to.
This is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, consenting to the City of Cooper City's providing water services to 12550 Luray Road, real property lying within the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, providing that no further expansion of service shall be permitted without the explicit written consent of the town, providing for a certified copy of this resolution to be furnished to the City of Cooper City, and providing an effective date.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, is there any public discussion on this item? Seeing none, if you can please call the roll.
Councilmember Hartman,
Yes.
Councilmember Jablonski.
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Albritton.
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 13, please.
This is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, approving a service order between the Town of Southwest Ranches and ClearGov, Inc. for a cloud-native budget cycle management software suite at first-year cost of $8,025.00, authorizing the mayor, town administrator, and town attorney to enter into the agreement and providing an effective date.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this item?
Mayor, there is a presentation for this item.
Oh, all right. All right, let's go for it.
Thank-
Emil,
thank-
sorry, I almost cut you off. Man.
It's all right. It's all right. So before we do the presentation, I just want to quickly highlight a couple of items that this act will be able to accomplish. When we joined the town about a year ago, one of the key points that we wanted it to address was come in here, look at any deficiencies, processes, policies, and internal controls. And as we move forward, this is our first of one of those items, which I can guarantee you is not going to be the last one. So with that said, if there's any question after, it's a quick 2-minute presentation. If there's any questions, I have some highlights here that I should be able to point out about the pricing or about the detail that it entails. So with that said, Town Clerk.
Annual budgeting cycles are critical, time-sensitive processes that can take thousands of hours to manage and require input from dozens of internal stakeholders. Relying on Excel to manage this process is time-consuming and cumbersome. It also leaves you one formula mistake away from a budgeting disaster. After months of hard work, the final product is usually a long PDF that is difficult to digest and is quickly outdated. At ClearGov, we believe there is a way to budget better. The ClearGov platform starts by providing web-based forms for departments to submit personnel, capital, and operating requests directly into an easy-to-understand dashboard. You can then quickly create multiple budgeting scenarios and forecasts that can be shared with committee members. ClearGov transforms your budget communications into dynamic, interactive websites that are instantly updated and can be shared via social media. We call this platform Budget Cycle Management. Designed specifically for local government, it works with any ERP and is comprised of 5 products, each designed to streamline a specific phase of your budget process. Capital budgeting automates the way you collect capital requests, prioritize projects, and create multi-year budget scenarios. Personnel budgeting enables you to easily forecast salaries, benefits, vacancies, and more to provide more accurate staffing costs. Operational budgeting brings everything together and streamlines the review and approval process across every department and every account. Digital Budget Book transforms your traditional budget book into an interactive website and saves you thousands of hours while communicating your budget more effectively. Transparency is a unique civic engagement platform that delivers easy-to-understand information and gathers input from residents to help better inform your next budget cycle. Visit cleargov.com to learn more about our powerful platform and how to budget better.
That's your vote, and if any questions, we're here to answer it.
So this tool, is this an annual cost then for this?
The way it works, that the one-time cost that is being presented here is for this year. That's a prorated amount of 5 months for the current year starting in May. After that, we're going into a 5-year commitment from 23 with no price increase. And then after that, in 24, it's going to be a 3% annual increase to the initial price. That 3% will continue throughout the life of the contract through 2028. At that point in time, the town has the option either to continue on a year-to-year basis or pursue other options as they are available. It's important to know, now that we're talking about the price, is that we just did not go out and took a look at a software and decided this is the right software for the town. We took an open book approach and researched this into all the municipalities. And we did an apples to apples comparison before we even selected ClearGov. ClearGov provides the town about roughly throughout the life of the contract 21% compared to a similar product. And we found that this product actually offers what the town needs, that brings collaborations among the department, brings transparency to the public, engagement to the citizens because they can actually go in, provide feedback, communicate with us and council, and that would actually be taken into consideration during the budget process for the next budget. It also allows us to provide not only numbers and pictures, but graph, charts, and on the project side, if we happen to have like the CAP now, those are being handled in Excel, prompt to error formulas, and Word documents, which we need to edit, and the format changes actually increases the time that everyone from finance and the departments has to utilize. And this will make the process a lot simpler, faster, and provide us with more quality time, such that the finance department is here. They volunteered to be here for the entire meeting because they do feel this is a very good item going forward for the town and for us.
Mayor?
I got a question.
Mayor,
Yes.
I just want to make a couple of points. As the town grows, the finance department, as capable as they are, becomes busier and busier and busier. And reporting requirements become more onerous year in and year out. Things like the surtax reporting becomes more onerous. This will allow this existing staff to work far more efficiently, but it's not just about finance. This is something that benefits the town across the board. It'll make the budgeting process easier for everyone who's involved in the department from the staff standpoint. So for every department, this will be a benefit. It'll also increase transparency for the residents and for the council. So now I know Emil can take your questions, but I wanted to add that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, Bob?
Emil, you had mentioned that the fee is prorated in the first year, and that's basically the $8,025.
75.
Thank you. But then it steps up in the second year to 20,000 because we're no longer prorated. So that's the annual price.
That is correct.
And that's going to go up on a
20,600.
3% basis on an annual basis.
Yes.
So 6%?
No, 3% throughout the life of the contract, which is through 2028.
That's what I read.
If the
Okay.
town decides to pursue with the same services on an annual basis going forward, that's going to go at 6%. After the 2028, if the town decides to.
That's in 28 then.
In
That's 5
20
years from now. That's not now. Okay.
That's not.
Good. I read it. I thought I confused some numbers. Thank you.
And to bring up, pick up from where Andy left, the town's budget for 2013 was roughly about $12 million. In 2023, this current year's budget that we're operating on is 27. And we're pretty much going essentially almost, twice double the amount, 2.5, in a decade with the same system. And it's actually not only antiquated, it's not beneficial to the town to continue with this process.
Can you give me an example of how this works with resident input? How would the residents interface with this tool?
They have access to, right now, if someone wants to look at the changes on a given department or an account or a transaction, there's no way that anyone from the town can access that information instantly. That will have to contact finance. We will have to share that information because what they're looking at is historical data based on the budget that was adopted by council. But that budget changed. Last council meeting, we actually processed a budget amendment. That changed that adopted budget. In this software, the citizen will be able to go back and see what was actually adopted, what changed, what's left, how we going forward, how are we spending the funds that the town actually is utilizing for the money that was previously adopted. And just to make a point of reference, the resolution actually indicates 8,075. So I just wanted to make sure that I have on my notes 8,075, but the resolution is 8,025. So you were right, Mayor. I mean, Bob. Bob.
So the interface with the residents would be from a reporting standpoint, it sounded like they would have some input into future budget proposals, or would they see proposals that are coming in, or like our CIPs or anything like that? Is there anything helping us decide what are the most important budget items?
Yes, going forward. What we operating is what council actually adopted. That's our operating budget.
Yeah.
But they will be able to provide feedback on that operating budget, which will be utilized during our budget process for the following year, should there be a need for an increased change or what they find to be a priority. That includes not only the operation, but also capital projects.
Okay, great, thank you.
Mayor?
Yeah.
The first $8,000 is our prorated for 5 months. I understand the second year and the third year, there is no increase? No 3% increase?
There's no increase on the first year. They based on our negotiation,
Okay.
the prorated amount, it's 8,000
Right.
plus. And then starting in October 1st, rather than increasing the annual rate by that 3%, ClearGov decided to just leave the same rate for one more year.
One more,
So the
okay.
3% would initiate at the beginning of '24, October 1st, 2024.
All right. So we basically get 1 year without that 3% increase?
Correct.
Any other questions?
I got a question.
Go for it.
How much is this going to increase the administration's budget? What percentage? Is this going to be a big hit to the administration's budget? Is this going to be a big hit
Well,
to the
it's
increase?
$20,000. What's the current administrative budget? I don't know. That's
Well, for this year, we budgeted 40,000.
total.
Oh.
So I think what David's asking is like, what percentage of the total finance budget?
Correct.
Is this, how much of an increase would this be?
Well, I'm going to answer that question, but just to clarify, this is actually going to be included in the non-departmental budget, which is where we associate any fees, websites, maintenance, that it's related to the whole town, not just for the department.
Is it, I know you guys are the accountants, but that doesn't sound right. I mean, why isn't your department being charged with software costs that your department uses?
Because it's not just the department, it's across the whole town. For auditing services, we try to put that into finance, because even though there's some benefits to the department, but for software, we try to, rather than, there's a process to do it. You can either allocate the cost to the department, but we don't feel that it's cost beneficial for us to do that based on our size and based on our utilization. So rather than associating a cost and then allocating a cost from the department to the other departments, we just put it into the non-departmental, and it balance it out.
We're making claims of productivity improvements.
Here we do, yes.
Right. But the point is, there's no way to reflect that against your team.
Right.
I mean, your team may resolve 50,000 improvements. I mean, they frees them up quite a bit. This would be the offset to that. So really, you're saving 20 grand, 30 grand, whatever it is.
There is a substantial, we can quantify the savings as to what this would represent. For example, when we implemented in 2020 a bid management software and virtual meeting for bidding our procurement items, that increased our bidding participants, then by a higher increased volume, then our procurement officer and budget officer then increase that person's time in spending during the procurement items as well during the budget process. This would actually alleviate that time, and then she will be able to actually manage the procurement and bidding process more efficiently, as well as the budget process of it. So that's how we can quantify the benefit if we want to put an amount to it. And to the percentage amount, I do have the operating budget here. We can actually do it by department if we want to. Let's do by operating budget. This is only on the operations for the non-departmental, which is where this item is being allocated. It represents 0.05%.
Okay.
Yeah, does this company offer a prototype that we can actually see how it works? Because you're selling us something that I haven't even seen. And I'm very skeptical about laying out what total cost, $112,000. I did all the math, adding up all the costs for all these years, $112,000. I haven't seen anything.
You guys, can I chime in here for a second?
It's actually the total cost. It's 71,000 throughout the 5 years. That includes the prorated amount.
And the 3% step-ups?
Yes, and then from 2028, it goes into an additional 6%.
But that's optional, so it's not included,
That's
right?
optional,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, all right. Yeah, Gary?
Yeah, Andy, when you were explaining this to me, you were mentioning that there was a labor savings involved in this in the department. Can you elaborate on that?
Oh, a simple example is when we start to put the budget together and we have that lengthy PDF and we make a change through the project and through the budgeting process, and it changes off the pagination, the paging, the page numbers and the formatting, can take hours to reformat the budget just from simple changes. This is a push of a button to adjust for those kinds of things. So you just working the manual clerical function of the budget.
Would it be safe to say
amount of time.
that this would save us an employee, a future employee, or a half an employee?
Half an employee?
Or something to that?
Yes.
All right, so I think it's pretty cost effective.
In that aspect,
And actually,
Yeah,
that's what I was
mean-
alluding to before, when I was talking about the amount of time that'll be saved across all departments is substantial, and it allows this finance department, I think Emil touched on Vanessa's time, for example,
Right.
being able to spend the time on the procurement function as opposed to page numbering the budget.
Yeah. So I think kind of what I'm hearing on this is, that, obviously the world continues to grow. It gets more complex. There's more requirements. There's more that we have to do. And frankly, I applaud the team from the standpoint of going out there and looking for a new tool to get the job done more efficiently and better. We're not sitting on our laurels. We're going out there looking for a better way to slice the bread. And so I applaud that. I think that I have two concerns. I'm not, the two things that come to my mind is this is a new tool, something we haven't used before, and to commit for 5 years is a big commitment to me. I wish this had been a 3-year contract, to be honest with you.
There is language in the contract that you can actually provide, that provides language for the town to actually get out of the contract. In my opinion, even if we do go on a 3-year or a 2-year or a 4-year, I think duration is important because it brings stability on training and utilization of the software. Us having to go off to a different system, we're probably going to provide.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about that, Emil. You know, if the tool does the job, I don't expect us to be changing every time the contract runs out. What I'm concerned about if the tool doesn't do the job. You know, if we find out after the first budget year that, oh my goodness, this sounded good, but it's just this is like twice the amount of work for whatever reason, and we're stuck with that for 4 more years, that's where I'm concerned. The other concern, I'll throw it out there, is I'm used to you know, from a business standpoint, there's usually, every organization I've been, there's a champion for any sort of a product like this. That's usually a department head or a division manager that says, listen, this is a tool that I need for my team to make them more efficient and to get the job done. And I've always seen that cost then go into that department head, division head area so that they're accountable for that cost and that they can, you know, if they're talking about there's a cost savings to it, we can see both sides of the equation in one P&L, you know, silo. And so I don't think it's appropriate to put this into a general category. I think you're coming here as the manager of the area, and for the good or the difficulty, you need to be held accountable for that. So
Absolutely, no
I
issue
think
with
that's
that.
where it belongs, to be honest with you. So those are my 2 concerns. I'm not saying they're deal breakers, but those, I want to get on the record, those are the 2 concerns I have.
We'll make sure that we address those.
If I may continue. Now, I'm 3 years into this and in my first term, and I've seen we get budget countered, everything's kind of crunched in, and it seems like there's a big rush right at the end. A lot of late night working and pushing hard on deadlines and like almost a state of panic almost. I don't know if maybe I'm saying it wrong. I don't know. Will this alleviate those type of situations where we will not be faced with a rush at the end?
Absolutely, it will. Not only would it should,
Have your word
it
on
will.
that.
Yes, absolutely, because when we get the final taxable valuation, which is July 1st, we need to, our target, our deadline is to have that proposed budget book completed by no later than July 17. So considering all the changes that we have to do at that time, and as the town administrator mentioned, one change on one table of contents, one page will have to trigger, it took, and we lived it, it took Vanessa just to change the proposed budget book 4 hours because we changed 1 or 2 pages, just the number, because then she has to go into each single page, make that change, and go across that on PDF version that actually changes the format. So she has to convert that into a Word document to change it completely and then PDF that back into the same format so we can generate the report. It is, I mean, as much as we can try to, and I don't want to mislead you, I'm not presenting this as a cost saving just for saying cost saving. This will generate cost saving. But the main reason I'm presenting to you is because the deficiency that we're facing now and the transparency that this will bring to the public, it will outweigh, even if we happens to be over by a few bucks, the benefits that this will represent to the town.
Have you seen it in action? Have you seen this program in action?
We have seen multiple demos, not just of ClearGov, of the other software as well, and they work perfectly. And as a matter of fact, one of the department directors actually participated on the last one we did, and she was real. She was very excited of it. It's night and day. There's no question about it. It's night and day. Not only for us as a user, but for the public and council. Council will be able not just to look at the reports that we send. You'll be able to go in and look at the daily if you wanted to, and see any variances or any concerns. you can actually bring it up to our attention if you have any question, just as much as the public will be able to do it.
Yeah.
So I went through the service order and the work order, and I don't see anything in there about training.
Yes, it's unlimited training at no cost to the town.
Unlimited. So that
Unlimited.
covers second year and on. Perfect.
Yes,
Okay,
unlimited.
because you have turnover, you have everything else, and I don't want us to be paying for this, out of pocket every year.
Credit when credit is due. The town clerk during one of those presentations indicated about training, and that was the person from ClearGuard responded to.
Thank you. Great job, Russell. Good. I guess the second side of that is this is a subscription. If we need any support, anything changed, anything, we find bugs, I'm assuming since this is a subscription service, there's no fee on.
Correct.
anything
It's
we find.
included on the maintenance of the software and the service for maintaining it.
So we pay a subscription fee plus maintenance? I didn't catch that.
No, the price includes all of that.
Okay, got it. Subscription fee, that's the standard. Good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Gary.
Yeah, guys, just want to point something out. There's a 60-day escape clause in here. Okay, so that's our downside.
Yeah.
If this tanks or doesn't work, we don't like it, we can get out of it just about as fast as we get into it. Okay. So that's kind of important because it seems like we're splitting hairs up here. And
I've been through a couple of these.
Yeah, I've been through some.
Huh?
They're not always fun and games.
Yeah. Caution.
Yeah, but I'm
But
just
that's a
saying,
good out.
But
That's a
I'm
good
just
out.
saying, there's an escape clause here.
Yeah.
That we can
Makes sense.
exercise at any given time.
Usually you find the problem in the third month if they give you 2 months. So, but I'm sure we can still work with them.
All right. David.
Is there, this is cloud-based, right?
Yeah.
Cloud-based?
Yes.
Yes.
Is there a security provision in there that prevents it from being hacked?
They do provide security services, and quite frankly, it's not just us. I mean, the town, Dania Beach utilizes this, Coral, I believe Coral Gable. So they do provide security bases.
They offer an insurance policy that they're covered for insurance?
I won't be able to answer that, but we have to go back into the language for the agreement.
Could you get back with me on that eventually?
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you.
All right. Any other comments, questions? Is there any public comment on this item?
Number one, was this put out to bid? Number two, has Keith reviewed it? Number three, $20,000, it's a lot of money, and it definitely needs to be in the finance department, and it needs to be one of the responsibilities. And as I say, it's the cost savings, who are they going to replace? So, $20,000 worth of replacement, since you've got AI now doing it. Number four, if someone gets into the system and screws it up royally, are they going to return it to its former self and take care of all the expense in doing that? In other words, the insurance policy on it. Because we see municipalities getting screwed up all the time now by malicious actors. So since this is now going to be outside of our servers, it's going to be on the cloud. What if it happens that way and we're attacked? And it's because of a fallacy in this system. Are they going to be responsible to financially make us whole again because of this? I don't think enough research has been done on this, and I think that it definitely needs to be in the financial department, 100%. Now, they can internally budget out to other departments, but it's their responsibility. They're the dollars and cents number crunchers, and this is a number crunching program. It doesn't belong in community service. It doesn't belong in anywhere else. So to hide it, no. And I think it's a very high service fee to begin with. And I'd like to know what other municipalities in South Florida have this. Small municipalities like we are basically the same size as us. There are smaller ones, I know. And what is their opinion of this? Have we heard from them? Do you guys know anything about any municipality that has it? I don't. I've never heard of them before in my life. So I think you're going a little bit quick on this, and you need to find out other municipalities that have a track record with them. Are they doing a good job? Are you happy with them? Et cetera, et cetera.
Great. Thank you, Newell. Any other public comment?
I do think Newell's point about the cyber liability and the amount of those crimes that are going on today, and you just have, there's just way too many people that use such smartness for such bad. And so it's just something really to look at. I just had a comment in as far as like the resolution. I think it would behoove everybody just to be a little bit more transparent, or just say what it is in the resolution, as opposed to saying the first year is $8,075 or $25, and not add, I mean, this isn't an amendment on the ballot, right?
Right.
To add that it is a 5-year commitment and will be $20,600 something thereafter. And thank you for asking all the right questions so it comes out, but just when you're reading the resolution, it be written. And I don't understand how the cost of it is like $72,000, because if you take $20,600 and increase it by 3% each year, you end up at $117,000. And not that, and I mean, it's just when you're giving the information, you want the residents to be able to believe what they hear. And these are simple. This is a simple thing. It's just math.
Where's the sheet?
So I just, that, you know, that the facts are all shared and we don't just go over them. And then after the 5th year, it's a 6% increase. That's what it is. But, and not to say I don't pretend to know civic accounting and all that goes into a budget. And this might be a wonderful thing. I just think maybe there just needs to be more research into it and how the full benefit. I definitely see how it can absolutely benefit all the different partners in that budget process in the town, and to make that a much better process, and be able, and the transparency, so that all of you and the different departments and I guess residents can see certain information without having to then go to all the finance or this one or that one to be able to get the information.
Yeah, good. Thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing none, public comment closed. I will say I also don't understand the $20,000 a year, 5 years, $75,000.
I take full responsibility for that. The sheet that I was using for my highlights only included 3 years plus the inception.
Gotcha.
So the math doesn't
Thank
do
you.
right.
Thank you. Yeah, Keith.
Yeah, Mayor, because Newell asked a question, I just want to address it. I did review the contract. The contract itself wasn't as problematic as the terms and conditions that they had online. I have requested numerous changes to that contract. Emil has told me that they've agreed to those changes, including removal, there was indemnification language and the like, choice of law forum, ability to cancel, as Councilmember Jablonski said, and others that they have been willing to include. The resolution on your desktop isn't actually the final one that I did that had some of those changes in it because of the timing. I think Emil was out of town. But it does give us a right to make those changes afterwards, so we will do so. Another issue that I see in the resolution that Russell even pointed out is that the resolution seeks 8,000 something's 25, but the backup says 75. So is the number you want 25 or 75? Because it doesn't match, and I want to make sure you approve the right number. I know it's $50, but it's $50.
Sure.
Keith, you said contract. I'm assuming it's a master service agreement?
So, yeah, the way they do this is kind of strange. So if you go through their pages of documents, it says, okay, this is what we're agreeing to. And by the way, also check out our website for our terms of service. And then you actually have to go on their website, and that's when they have 60 pages of, their actual agreement that you have to go through. And there were things in there that are void of Florida law, including indemnification provisions. We're not allowed to indemnify anyone because we have sovereign immunity, and we would never waive that. So, Emil, I gave my comments to Emil. He said that they have all been addressed, but it just happened that the version that you got tonight was not the final one that we went through.
The service agreement actually addressed the concerns that the town attorney actually indicated. One of his points was that it was, if there's any dispute, has to be handled by the state of Massachusetts. The service agreement actually indicates, with the changes to it, that it's going to be handled by the state from which the customer it's located, which in this case absolutely just address that. So those were the issues that Keith actually brought up.
Yeah.
And the service agreement on those sections address those to the point. Also, something that Keith mentioned was the public records retention and law. Again, language in the service agreement indicates that those will be governed by the state for where the customer resides, which in this case would be Florida. So all of those were addressed. And to Keith's point on the amount, it's $8,075.
Okay. Can you forward us whatever the current version of the master service agreement? Because the security concern should be highlighted in there. Otherwise, if it's not in writing, it's going to be in their favor. Of course. So if you could forward that to us, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other question is, did they do any reference checks? That's a good question, too.
Yeah, so I do think, are we, let me go through some of the issues that came up. Are we comfortable moving this into the finance budget side as opposed to, okay, so it's going to go in there, it's not going to go in the general. I think if I'm reading the crowd properly, and by the crowd I mean the folks up in the dais, there's a lot of good benefits to this. I think that we are learning a lot of things tonight that we still have questions about and want to understand more. And so I do think that it's not a matter of not doing this, but I think we need some time to kind of digest what we've heard. And I think for you all to kind of go back and think about this and adjust it a little bit. So I'm thinking, we can go ahead and table it tonight and maybe pick it up in 2 meetings.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you so much.
I'm not making I can't make the motion, but I
I'll
think
make a
that's what I'm
motion to
reading.
table it to date certain in the second meeting in May.
25th?
25th. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Perfect.
This price was agreed upon dependent on being approved in April. Table it, that's your decision, that's perfectly fine. What I will have to do is go back and make sure that they would warranty the same price for whatever date council decides to bring this forward.
Okay. Yeah, I think, that's fairly common. And if they're this close to a sale, I would expect them to give us another 30 days.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to talk to them, but yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think in a month end.
Yeah. Some salesman's going to miss their quota or whatever, their bonus. But, at the end of the day, the company still wants to make the sale, I'm sure. So, all right.
Just one other thing on this that keeps
Guys,
pulling
we-
my
we
hair.
called for
Yeah, we
tabling.
have called for tabling,
sorry.
which cuts off.
Sure.
the
Yeah,
discussion.
we don't
Sure.
discuss
Yes.
this anymore.
Yes.
It's
Let's
done.
finish that.
We have to
Yeah,
take a vote.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Mayor, we still have a motion to approve and a second. So, okay.
The
so
table
okay.
supersedes,
So
yeah.
did we get a motion in a second?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I didn't catch that. Okay.
So we can call the roll?
Yep. Councilmember Hartman?
Yes.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Kozinski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Albritton?
Yes.
Mayor Bright Cruz?
Yes.
All right. Motion is tabled.
Just one last question about this whole thing that keeps picking in the back of my brain. We have a 3% increase on an annual basis for the first 5 years. How are they jumping that, and why are we letting them jump that to 6%? They're doubling it.
Quite frankly, it's based on inflation, based on CPI, so they make the determination for the length of the contract. Something that actually also is guaranteed is that their price goes on tiers based on the budget size. As our budget continues to grow, that tier would actually increase, meaning that by default, the annual price would essentially increase. By securing this length of a contract, regardless of our budget increasing, we're securing that original price. As I indicated, 10 years ago, our budget was $12 million, now it's 27, that going forward.
If I'm still here in 5 years, I'll be encouraging you to renegotiate a 6%. That's high in software.
Yeah. I suspect that it's tied to the difference between a 5-year contract and a 1-year contract.
Of course.
Right, so they're trying to, now, if you sign up for another 5 years, maybe they can do the 3% again, you know.
Oh, they'll
so.
drop it to 3.5.
Yeah, right, there you go. All right, awesome. Item number 14, appointments, one of our favorite topics to talk about on a regular basis. 'cause we
Mr.
have
Mayor, can I
such-
jump in there real quick?
That would be awesome, Jim.
Would I?
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to
Yeah,
nominate
jump right in
Jim.
there. We're all going to move back.
Jim's doing a great job.
Seeing as how I got the floor, Mr. Mayor, I appreciate that so much. Which appointment would this be, sir? Is this one to the Broward League of Cities?
This would be to the Broward League of Cities, yes.
Wow, okay.
You know, I've noticed that we have had exceptional representation. I don't know if you all have noticed this, but we've had exceptional representation. at the
I'll
Broward
agree.
League of
I
Cities.
absolutely agree, right. Right.
Yeah.
I will absolutely agree to that. There's no problem with that, Mr. Mayor, no
Awesome.
problem whatsoever,
Great.
okay?
Mr. Southwest
But
Ranch is down there at
do
the
you
end.
think that maybe-
He just steals the show when he walks in, works the room.
He knows everybody. He does
Yeah, it's like, you know, why would we want to change that?
I can't think of any reason.
And why would we want to mess that up, you know?
Anybody else want it?
Mr. Nair, I relinquish the floor. It's getting deep in here, and I relinquish the floor. Thank you.
I make a motion that we put Vice Mayor as our primary representative for the
Yeah,
Broward League.
and then, of course, we have the alternate and the second alternate.
Yes.
Well, we can keep them the same because they're never showing up anyway.
All right. Who is the alternate and second? I know.
I'm third.
Gary?
Third, your second alternate?
No, I'm second or third. one.
Second, Gary's,
Second alternate.
Your second alternate? Who's the alternate?
Who's the alternate?
no, there's only two alternates, the first and the second.
That's what
They
I'm
can
asking.
argue over who's first and second, I don't
Yeah,
care.
the pecking order is Jim, then I think it's me, and then I
okay.
think.
Yes, right,
and then I get
right,
David.
there it is.
However,
right.
David volunteered to go ahead of me, so
Oh. Oh. All right. I think I hear a motion. I don't know. Is this a motion? Is this a voting item or is this a consensus? All right. I think we have a consensus. Thank you, Jim.
All right, so which one
Thank
is?
you, Gary.
So which
And then
one's
thank you, David.
the first alternate and second alternate?
First alternate is Gary. Second alternate
Got
is
it,
David.
okay, so when the phone calls come in, I'll know who to make them to.
That's
okay.
right. That's right.
yeah, that depends if the phone gets answered.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I think there's also a responsibility for the first alternate for item 15.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn?
Excellent. Thank you.
Bye, folks.
Thank you.